to your radio. Whoa. Cutting edges on your stereo, yeah. Mutabaruka leads the way, so just you let the station play, yeah. Say your teachings got to hold on me, yeah. Well, this is Kimani and you're listening to, Mutabaruka. H.A.R.P, Cutting Edge. Whoa.
Yeah, good night. This is the Cutting Edge on H.A.R.P. You're listening to the cello of H.A.A.R.P. Sweet, sweet, sweet. Yes, the cello of the man called H.A.A.R.P. One bright morning when the work is over, we shall fly away home. This is the Cutting Edge. We give thanks to be here. We could be somewhere else and notice the place look like day. As some people are usually only say in the night here. That's wonderful. That's very wonderful.
To have many friends,
here you go.
Black and white, Indians and colors, national, international. I'm so glad, I'm glad to have many friends, black and white, Indians and colors, national, international. I'm proud to be an African like you. I'm proud to be an African like you. I am happy to be black like you. I am happy to be black like you. We were fearful that our voices would be transferred into the Martians, and we would no longer be able to sing ourselves. What was even worse was that we would continue to sing in the machines long after our death. I'm proud to be an African like you. That's why they say black is beautiful. That's why they say black is beautiful. That's why they say black is beautiful. Black is beautiful. That's why they say black is beautiful. Black is beautiful. That's why they say black is beautiful. Black is beautiful. That's why they say black is beautiful. Black is beautiful. That's why they say black is beautiful. Black is beautiful. That's why they say black is beautiful. That's why they say black is beautiful. Tibalim nyama. Black is beautiful. Selim shop. Black is beautiful. Tibalim nyama. Black is beautiful. Black is beautiful. That's why they say black is beautiful. Black is beautiful. They say black is beautiful. Rainbow Nation. Black is beautiful. And they say black is beautiful. Rainbow Nation. Black is beautiful. Black is beautiful. Black is beautiful. That's why they say black is beautiful. Black is beautiful. That's why they say black is beautiful. Black is beautiful. That's why they say black is beautiful. Black is beautiful. That's why they say black is beautiful. Black is beautiful. That's why they say black is beautiful. Black is beautiful. That's why they say black is beautiful. Black is beautiful. That's why they say black is beautiful. Black is beautiful. That's why they say black is beautiful. That's why they say black is beautiful. Tibalelim nyama, black is beautiful. Selim shop, black is beautiful. Tibalelim nyama, black is beautiful. Sindo zonke, black is beautiful. That's why they say black is beautiful. Black is beautiful. I say black is beautiful. Rainbow nation. Black is beautiful. And they say black is beautiful. Rainbow nation. Black is beautiful. Black is beautiful. Black is beautiful. That's why they say black is beautiful. Black is beautiful. Black is beautiful. That's why they say black is beautiful. Black is beautiful. That's why they say black is beautiful. Black is beautiful. That's why they say black is beautiful. Black is beautiful. That's why they say black is beautiful. Black is beautiful. That's why they say black is beautiful. Black is beautiful.
Shop was a glorious blaze. From the front porch, I heard the flames lick, then eat the trays of
R.E.F.M. Thought-provoking, always smoking, lyrics like a bazooka. You are listening to Mutabaruka.
The Your Friend Charlie pawn shop was a glorious blaze. From the front porch, I heard the flames lick, then eat the trays of zircons mounted in red gold alloys. Sunday suits and stolen furs burned in the attics. Radios and TVs crackled with static plugged in only to a racial outlet. Some thought the friendly furniture mart burned higher. When a leopard print sofa with gold legs that makes into a bed caught fire, an admiring shout from the waiting horde said, "Absentee landlord, you got that shit." Lighting by 100 watts. Detroit in 42, New York in 64, screeching nerves, exploding minds, lives tied to a policeman's whistle and a welfare worker's doorbell finger. Hospitality, Southern style, corn pone grits, and you all smile. Whole blocks burning like brand new stars, policemen driving their bulletproof cars saying, "Chugga, chugga, chugga, let's shoot that nigger," trying to
Yes, the voice of Maya Angelou, which still reflecting on Maya Angelou, lady that have been there and done that and more. This is the cutting edge who wants to give thanks to the moment, give thanks to the time, give thanks to the energy. I know sometimes we sit down here, so it's the mic we talk to, and we wonder if anybody out there, but we know that someone out there can feel it. We want to hear about the people in England, all the man them and the woman them, Birmingham, London Central, Brixton, all Bristol, we up, hey, trust me. You have more people listening to cutting edge in England than Jamaica. While you look, my brethren them in South Africa, and the people them who make me know say them listen to cutting edge in a Gambia. I will feel good to know that. So with the on the stage of world affairs, where we say the greatest weapon in the hands of the oppressor is the mind of the oppressed. The greatest weapon in the hands of the oppressor is the mind of the oppressed. And when we look and say that our minds is like sponge, we take in everything and hardly let out anything unless we get squeezed. Because sometimes you wonder how the sponge holds so much water in it. And then when you squeeze the sponge, you realize, oh gosh, man, that's so much water in it. Most of our brains come like sponge and now we absorb and not letting out anything. And we're not even absorbing the right things. You know, we're under colonialism still. White supremacy is still the order of the day. But it's just that there's no white people that is allowing us to live out that element of spongy brains. Them have some people over where will look like we. I actually believe say we, but I know we are them. You know, we say, and this is no joke, because I never tell you from last year, say, you know, them have planned a concert on the moon. If you are easy, though. They have planned Lady Gaga is supposed to perform on the moon next year. Branson, the brother who owned Virgin, he might plan a flight to the moon, a $1 million per seat, and I hear said sold out already. Yes, I hear said so. I hear said the seat them sold out already, and I think Lady Gaga is supposed to perform. But you're the biggest one, you know. Maybe you never hear that one. Hear that one. Mark my word. Of me telling you this, and this I kid you not. Apparently, they have found a section of Mars that human life can exist on. Listen to this, you know. Apparently, they have found a section of Mars that human life can exist on. So these people is planning a one-way trip to Mars. You hear me right? I think you hear me. We say, them have a flight and leave for Mars. One way. That means that when you go up there, you not come back. Alright, sir, may I tell you? May I tell you? So you know what that mean, though? Them people, they know we are going on the earth, you know. Them know, say them have set up certain things to the earth, you know. And we are going to do so, but hear them say no. Because black people are the love talk, you know. The black people are say, well, me no want rich, you know, me just want to have enough. What is enough? In this time, what is enough? Can you truly have enough? And what is the enough that you think we have? That is the problem, you know. We always feel like say we have. You have some people that say, as long as you have life, you're alright. I just life you want, you must have life and live it abundantly. You can't just have life. Everything have life. Everything have life. All stone them. Because stone grow over a period of thousands of years. Why somebody that just want to have life? I mean, have life and you suffer, have life, you don't know how you ever get the next food, have life and you stink and you can't bear that. No, sir, you want more than just have life. You want to have life and live it to the highest level. You want to live life because heaven is not a physical place. And that is one thing when me and Poor Paul is 6 years now. Poor Paul say that heaven, you know, they're going to make Poor Paul a saint. I wonder if they make him a saint then. Yeah, well, Poor Paul did make a statement say heaven and hell is not physical. This is after thousands of years, I'm going to tell the people, them say, heaven is up there, so hell down there, so you know. Now, him come say, heaven and hell is not a physical place. We don't know, say, heaven is where I am in a certain consciousness and certain purity of heart. I say, we want to have life in abundance. We want all the things them that will make life meaningful and purposeful. We want life where love generate amongst all human beings and the energy pour out upon the trees and the birds and the flowers and the bees, the rats and the dogs, all the drunk of them that serve purpose. We want life abundantly. We don't want to just have it. Because no people have life and are better than the dead. You have people right now where a year them just lay down in a bed and can't move. Them in a coma. You have people where they're on the street where I pray say when them not just dead, when them not just dead. Well, God make me a suffer. And you have people who are suffering in our church, and now we are pray to God to take them life. So having life is not just, yeah, me have life, and that is good. Because you have some people wake up and I wonder if it really makes sense that them did wake up. Because the amount of problems with them in, that's why they go kill people and then kill themselves. All a man who kill himself now, you know, say, him did that look upon it and say, yeah, me have life, but guess what? Him never have it in abundance. And that is what we should have searched for, life in abundance, where we can generate an aura of generosity and kindness to each other, and it reverberate all over. We move from family structure, black people in a serious problem when it comes on to family structure. And we were really seriously going to that as a consciousness. Family. We should have used family as a structure, as a consciousness that should be structured rather than just as a social manifestation. Because when people talk about family, them see it as a social manifestation rather than a consciousness. And we need that consciousness to perpetuate as part of a family. You see, not just a social order where you say, well, me and your brother, me and your sister through bloodline and all these things. And through bloodline, that don't make your family. Because sometimes your family is not necessarily who come out of the womb of the same womb or out of the sperm of the same man. You know, see, sometimes your family is extended out there. Sometimes you take years to find your family. Years. I mean, I talk about blood relative neither. So we have to go beyond the social order of family and go into the spiritual, the psychological manifestation of who we are as a people and how family can develop out of consciousness. And family must be consciousness. It can't be more, it can't be just social. It must be consciousness. And right now we don't see a consciousness in Jamaica when we talk about family. Click it. Yeah. So when we talk about family as a consciousness and not just as a social order. Because we find in the Western world, yeah, them have a social order and a consciousness, but we as African people get fashioned into social orders, and we lose that consciousness because of how them set up the structure, how them set up the society, or how them set up the system and then perpetuate the same system per way, and we lose that consciousness. So I don't know where it's going to take for we return to the family as a consciousness. I don't know where it's going to take for black people recognize how important it is to maintain that family. Can I say familyhood? Yes, that familyhood in our society. Because especially in Jamaica right now where we live, and we see it's like anarchy. Well, not even anarchy, because anarchy is not necessarily a bad way still, but it's like it just, everything just a go on, so without anyone is there to stop it. And then that good things are go on, the bad things outweigh the good things. And everybody is in turmoil, everybody is worrying, everybody is trying to leave here, everybody is trying to do all sorts of things. Everybody want gun. Bad man want gun. Good man want gun. And you know, say, all the pastors have him gun. Him the pan pulpit a preach and I hope a guy in a run come in, they come shoot. So when I'm hey, one of them you hear a shootout in a church, you know, shootout in a church, you know, you see a man's going to a church and kill a man, but like more you go hear shootout in a church, you know. You go hear say all the passing duck behind all the altar and draw out him gun and fire 2 shots and mistakenly kill one of him congregation. Which is years now, 400 years, they might kill the congregation. Not with a gun, but with the lies that they are telling black people. And we want to develop what we were doing before the Europeans came there and take us out. We want to go study African history, not just for know say this and this and that, but for implement it. We want to go look into the fables of H.A.A.R.P, the Ethiopian. Well, if people hear about H.A.A.R.P and don't know, say H.A.A.R.P was an African Ethiopian slave. When you hear about H.A.A.R.P's fables, you know, we want to hear about H.A.A.R.P, Akhenaten, Isis, Horus, Osiris, Mahat, Hanut. I mean, we want to hear about our history and what was these people doing philosophically and otherwise. What were they doing? The Dogons, the University at Timbuktu, what were these people doing to facilitate institutions of learning, institutions of social order, institutions of spirituality that define a people for thousands of years before any Europeans came? When are we going to go into that aspect of our Africanness instead of delving into this idea of slavery? A whole heap we only know about Africans because of slavery. We don't know about Africans because of inventions, because of giving Europe a certain civil order, where them call it the classical period of Europe was ignited by African people who went there and governed parts of Europe for over 500 years. So when you hear them talk about classical Europe, when them talk about Spain and Italy and, you know, the highness of how people behave and maneuver themselves, we don't know that these Africans go there with that sensibility. We feel them to develop that half of them own. We never know that Africans was in Spain for 500 years, building those great mosques and temples and mosaics. Beautiful mosaics, beautiful street, road them made out of stone when I have no patrol. In Bordeaux and Marseille and, I mean, all of these places that we hear about in books. When you go there, you see the handiwork of black people. Because them don't tell you that it's not all black people came here as slaves. And it's not, the slave trade was not only across the Atlantic Ocean, but the slave trade was also across the Sahara. Because they took us from south of the Sahara and carried through the burning sun in shackles and chain into Europe to facilitate the development of Europe. We don't hear about that part of it, you know. A very important part. And we don't hear about how Africans fought the invaders. and develop societies of them own to the point where they were the ones who gave high science to Europe. When Europe was in the pit, we have to recognize what is it that Africans were doing before the Europeans got here, got invaded, before the Portuguese, before the Spaniards, and before the French. What were the Africans doing as a society? What were the Africans doing in their institutions that existed? And then we use that now as a springboard to revitalize our energies as African people in a family structure. Because that we lose. And that we lose the family structure that is designed in our DNA. Imagine it's in our DNA, but it gets so suppressed. That's why we say first, when we start, we say, the greatest weapon in the hands of the oppressor is the mind of the oppressed. Because it is the mind that them attack. Because them know that if them attack the mind, them control the person. And now we have a thing called the mind control. The mind control that devastates both the young and the old. Because the old knows that them is slave, but them can't come out of it. And the young don't know that them is slave, so them don't even know that them supposed to come out of anything. With them fast food and them denim clothes, them catch the youth them, and them brains just a laga. Them don't know if them a go or a come. The breeze just blow them and them just bend, and some of them who bend broke. And now we see young people have disease that old people supposed to have. And we see young people are react in vicious ways that we're not used to. And we wonder what is happening, and we are trying to find out and figure out what is happening to the young people them nowadays. While the old people them sit on them veranda waiting to die, to go to heaven in the sky. That is one of the biggest lies. Them tell lie. And people still perpetuate that lie about heaven is in the sky. And there's a better life than this life. Them say, well, if this life is the only thing, then what is it? So why we want to figure out a next life when we can make this life be meaningful and divine? SP dead people, you have some people go all up now everywhere. Hey, watch your man. There's a story, and we have to tell this story before we go to the feature, because we're going to present mind control and how them is planning and using certain things to control the mind. A serious documentary. But before we go to that, this man lay down in a hospital for him die in bed, and his family come over him, and his family said to him, just confess your love for Jesus Christ before you're dead, please, and your soul will be saved. And the man laid on her bed and said, but you don't know, I'm not interested in them something there. I don't interested in those things. And the family, the mother and the father and the sister and the brother stood over him hospital bed and see the man are dead, and the man say, just please just accept the Lord and Savior as your personal Savior, and when you go to heaven, you will get all the rewards as a Christian person should get. And the man lay down there, and him a refuse, and him a refuse. And him brother left him, and him brother left him. And them I say, please, like them I say, please Brian, just confess. It is better to confess than to don't confess. And him, just as before him dead, him say, all right, really confess that the Lord and Savior Jesus Christ will take him when him reach in heaven. Lo and behold, the man reach up a heaven. I expect to see a Christian place. When him go up there, God a Muslim, Jesus a Muslim, everybody up there a Muslim. Wow. This is the cutting edge on H.A.R.P. Yeah, out of Mali, you're listening to Salif Keita. Sweet, sweet, sweet Mali music, man. Mali, where the first university in Timbuktu was. Yeah, from Mali we come right down to Senegal. Big tune in Senegal from them longer time there. Yeah. Yeah, this is the culture that I represent there with you. I go through the PSs, you know, say Africa they on my mind. Yes, Africa right through. This is Black History Month, pan cutting edge. You better believe it. We not stop talking about Africa because our being, and we say it's very important, especially we are going now in the whole governmental part of the thing. You know, we see the West look like it a get away, you know, with them whole economical problems and, you know, send wars, weapons of destruction into so-called third world countries and building up arsenal of destructions in these countries and polluting the air. It's a plan, destroying the land with them radioactive reaction. A long time we said that. Atmospheric disturbance everywhere. Third world, you better beware. Radioactivity on the land, killing us one by one. Now the weak must get strong to the longest liver. The earth belong. Is a plan, is a plan, is a plan, is a plan. Destroying the land with them radioactive reaction. This is the cutting edge. We're there with you and this. A long time we not play that tune, you know. Yeah, to the last drop. We're just talking about Africa and the ideas that we don't grasp because we're so embedded in this westernization and for thinking that we find it very difficult to explore African sensibilities and African structures and African institutions because we don't get oriented that way there. We don't get oriented if we come say, yeah, you know, say in Africa, it's so we used to do it, therefore. No, we say, well, look how them do it in Africa, Rasta, me know that. That's so we do it, you know, that's so we say it. We frown up a nose upon everything African. Because so them teach it. And all when them not there to teach it, we still do it. And all when we understand, say no go so, it's still in our consciousness. It's the weirdest thing. Like most people them think about Africa, appear bush them as an animal. And naked people have naked people run up and down. Them not think upon building and, you know, I just since that day when them had the football in South Africa, people say, Lord, Africa, that never knows Africa have all them things to it. It's a crazy set of people. Africa is the only place where you can examine primitive man and modern man because them live and exist there. The primitive man live in Africa and the modern man live in Africa. You can't trace man in Africa without come out of Africa and deal with them evolution. one type of man in Europe, and that is the modern man. One type. One type of structure in Europe, and that is the modern structure. In Africa, you have different structures. You have a man who lives in a thatch house, and you have a man who lives in a palace mansion with building blocks on top of building blocks. You have a man who have almost no clothes. I have a man who have too much clothes. Trust me, you got Nigeria. You got Nigeria, go to a session, a party, and see how them man they dress with the boo-boo. Them have a pants, shirt, and boo-boo, and hat, and trust me, some of them have a marina underneath that too, and underpants and all these things. And then you have a next part of Africa where you go now, you just see a man just have a little thing around him and run up and down, and the woman them too. With them breasts out that door and everything. And no rape, no in a them village there. No rape, no in a them village there. So the woman have cash no married. Watch a man, no rape, no in a them village there. Them supposed to be primitive villages. Where you go, and you see the woman them, the young ladies them walking around without top. And no rape, no in a them village there. All we here so now, we just want to see the woman hankle. Just say our hankle we want to see. And everything start to ignite in our body. Because we get socialized away there. You go places in Africa, man. I mean, it's sad, man, if you know, say. The majority of Jamaican people are African, and we despise Africa, so. It tear me heart if you know that. If you know, say, most Jamaicans don't even know the truth about Africa. Because their mind is in that no way at all. Them sensibility don't have no connection or clue. And the clue where them have is designed to push them away further and further away from them heritage, from them history, and from them culture. Because we have absorbed another man's way of life and another man's understanding of life. We get sucked in. Sucked in. And don't realize that the world is more than just what they tell you. They teach you what they want you to know. And what they want you to know is what they want you to know to build up back their institutions and their empires and leave your thing behind as relics and to put in museums as pieces to be adored. Oh, that was where we were in Africa at the time. Now this is modern time. We don't need Africa, we need Times Square. Central London, Piccadilly Square, that is where we need. We need Paris, Milan, Rome. That is where we need. We don't need the realms of mountains and forests and birds and bees and flowers and trees. We don't need that. Because that is too common, that is too simple, that is too lively. Because now we move away from life. We're gone to something else now. And them creating things to make we move away more and more from that energy. Oh, terrible, horrible. We're a little youth in Jamaica now. Him not have no thinking about tell you about Africa. What you talk about Muta? How that help we know? That not help me if you go know about Africa and go Africa one lion near me and man I'm sick and bang belly picnic and flying at them mouth and malaria and AIDS and all them things there. Nah, sir. Because that is how they make you see it. That is how they make you see it. When you see a picture of Times Square and all those lights and this big screen TV at the middle of the road, you say, wow, you marvel. But when you go to a certain African country, you know, it's like even, I'm going to take even Jamaica. I could not go to Africa or New York. I could stay at Jamaica. Yeah. The man in a Westmoreland and the youth in a St. Mary want to go to Kingston because bright lights is in Kingston and more opportunities in Kingston. He want to see bright light. He don't want to see hear penny wall around him. He don't want to hear croaking lizard a croak and birds a chirp and the wind a blow against the wind a blow against the banana tree and the banana tree a sway and the moonshine just a kiss the banana leaf, make the banana leaf look shine. And when you go so and draw up your breath, you just feel fresh air. That's too simple. You have to move away from that. That not have no opportunity for us. We're going to go to Kingston, go kill some. That's why everybody pack up their Kingston now, the smallest parish in Jamaica. And everybody want to reach there. And those who are in Kingston want to leave Kingston and go to New York or Miami or better yet, London. That is how them have way. The greatest weapon in the hands of the oppressor is the mind of the oppressed.
Sometimes it's not education, it's intelligence.
It's what you learn after you know it all that counts.
The foolish dog barks after the flying bird.
Say something before me lock you off.
Step in, Razor. This and every Thursday, 2 to 6 p.m. Yes, Rasta. The art of war.
Everything you always wanted to say,
but didn't.
Forward. Yes. Step in, Razor from 2 to 6, 2 to 5:45. Anyway, we want to play this documentary that we have here. Yes. It's not a very long documentary. No, the time is now 16 minutes past 11 o'clock. We want to listen carefully to what these guys is up to and is doing. Believe you me. We want them. We want you know, there's a organization named H.A.A.R.P. H.A.A.R.P. Serious place in America right now where is on the spotting. Everybody has spotted out now because it a create havoc. They might create certain things. They might shift up the climate. They might change up certain things with them inventions and cause all tsunamis and all these things. And people don't believe these things. And people say it's conspiracy theory that is going on. Them people said, "Sure, no go so." It's same way they talk about AIDS and same way them say, "No go so, man." We're not talking about that foolishness. 20, 30 years after, you see the man them come out with some report and say, "Yeah, them did not do this and them never do that and them did not do this and do that." And it's long after, when the man them done to them wickedness and kill all sort of people, you know. One cannot forget this Tuskegee experiment. Go up online and Google that Tuskegee experiment where them inject 300 black men with syphilis. And it's long after them admit to it. And now we see them do all sort of things and just admit to it. Things where them do all in a World War I and II. Them just come and admit to these things. So, don't take the thing like about true your man and say, well, it's conspiracy theory, that and that, have no weight. It's a serious conspiracy go on from people. And we have to take that serious.
The system that we're talking about is going to be the H.A.R.P system, the High Frequency Active Auroral Research Project, operating up here in Alaska. And if you also think about, and most people remember this from even high school science, but the magnetic field lines that come from the South Pole stretching around and then intersecting at the North Pole and surrounding the planet. These magnetic field lines are very much similar to what you would see on a bar magnet illustration in your basic science books, or in a motor, if you think about the Earth spinning and actually creating a dynamo, a motor, and these magnetic field lines being one of the outproducts of that, in conjunction with interaction with the solar wind, you get things like the magnetosphere and the magnetotail, which comes back behind sort of the way the downwind of the planet, if you will, from the sun itself. In any case, this dynamic of the Earth's motion, solar radiation, the interplay of all of the various factors of the planet are looked at in separate, independent, individual science, not really looked at in integrated science. How do all those systems work together, and what do they create in outcomes? But as we look at H.A.A.R.P, the primary idea is to affect this ionosphere and then affect these magnetic field lines. And ideally, you want to affect those magnetic field lines at the closest place to which they intersect the planet, which happens to be at the poles. And in the case of where Alaska sits on a map, very near the poles, the furthest northern territory in the United States, where you could locate a facility on U.S. territory that you could inject energy directly into the magnetic field lines of the Earth. We're going to be talking about an area above the Earth's surface, about 30 miles above the Earth's surface, moving out several hundred miles beyond that, the ionosphere. It's a highly charged area. It filters out cosmic radiation, various particle streams that without it would make life impossible on the planet. Now, one of the ideas behind H.A.A.R.P, which is an array or field of antenna here in Alaska, 180 antenna in the array today, it fires or concentrates, focuses radio frequency energy that it literally sends up into a relatively narrow beam, affecting the magnetic field lines in one instance, where the energy is normally, naturally flowing from the South Pole, coming up, arcing high above the equator, then coming back into the North Pole, with the energy flowing from south to north. What happens is those magnetic field lines act as waveguides, so you can pump energy out of H.A.A.R.P, focus it on those magnetic field lines, and then it screws itself, if you were to be able to see it, with like a corkscrewing motion, where the energy is actually moving now from north to south, using the magnetic field lines as a waveguide. Now, what would that do, essentially? If you had, for instance, an intercontinental ballistic missile that gets fired from China to the U.S., and it traverses those magnetic field lines with those charged particles racing along them, using them as waveguides, it would create a virtual shield around the planet, so any of those incoming objects, intercontinental ballistic missiles, any satellites that happen to traverse those areas, or any other electronically sensitive equipment would be destroyed almost instantly. And so when you think about H.A.A.R.P, there's a couple of ways to look at it. One is manipulation of those field lines, those magnetic field lines, which actually have been mapped. And if you look at some of the ways those are mapped, is barium particles are injected into the upper atmosphere and lower ionosphere using barium-laden rockets. What those create when you inject radio frequency energy is air glow, where you get this sort of light-up effect. So you can actually see this corkscrewing motion around those magnetic field lines and serving as waveguides. In fact, they did that test a number of years ago in Alaska. And they do these from time to time, just more or less illustrate what they think theoretically should happen is actually happening in place and at the time of the experiments. Now, H.A.A.R.P as an array of antenna can be focused and concentrated. You got to think about this in a much different way than normally how radio frequency energy behaves. If you think about a radio broadcast antenna, broadcasting radio frequency energy, that energy dissipates or spreads out very rapidly from the point of broadcast, the antenna, out into the atmosphere. And the further away you get, the less dense, the less concentrated is that radio frequency energy, which is why radio stations eventually fade out over distance. On the other hand, what H.A.A.R.P does is by firing this array or field of antennas. Imagine firing them in such a way as to create kind of a corkscrewing motion. A cyclotron resonance is what it's called, where that energy is then focused to a smaller and smaller area, and as it hits the ionosphere, it becomes concentrated. And think about that in the same way as light coming off of a laser versus light coming off of a flashlight. When you think about HAARP, think about it as a mechanism on the ground that's designed to interact directly or to plug into those magnetic field lines and actually then use the environment itself as part of the machine on the ground. And think about it in this sense. Think about that machine on the ground, this field of antenna broadcasting radio frequency as a primer, the small amount of energy, because the big energy is contained in the natural environment. The idea is if we understand enough about how these mechanisms work, then we can trigger various cascading effects where it sort of builds on the energy that's naturally in place. And so when you think about HAARP, not just in the effect of magnetic field lines, but another opportunity to manipulate energetic systems within the Earth has to do with the ionosphere itself. And imagine that ionosphere is a bubble around the Earth, several hundred miles thick, again, starting about 30 miles off the Earth's surface. Now, that's a highly charged area, a tremendous amount of energy potential there. In fact, some will remember a number of years ago, there was a shuttle experiment where they drug a tether, a dangling wire through the ionosphere to see what would happen. And energy was picked up as it moved, because when you move something, a conductor through an electric field as is charged as the ionosphere, it actually begins to move current, which it did. It shunted that current straight into the shuttle and almost blew it out of the sky. Now, the thing that came out of that didn't get widely talked about was the amount of energy produced could be useful, for instance, for keeping a low orbiting space platform in orbit around the planet, being able to charge it up by just tapping the energy by the fact that it's orbiting the planet and moving through the ionosphere would be one way to charge up these kinds of space-based platforms, whether they were for weapon systems or running low orbiting satellites. But basically moving energy into space in normal, like shuttle payloads, is prohibitively expensive, very difficult to pull off to any great degree. But if you could create an energy source sufficient to run these kinds of systems, then you eliminate all kinds of logistical problems, and you're able to keep these things aloft for great deals of time. Part of the HAARP idea was if you could focus radio frequency energy, you could even concentrate it and send energy directly to the same kind of low orbiting space platforms, as an example. One of the other thoughts with HAARP systems are the actual heating of the ionosphere. And when it's heated, because this energy is concentrated, what happens is the ionosphere then lifts up, moves out several hundred kilometers. Now imagine if you're a satellite drifting through space where there's no atmosphere, and all of a sudden you hit a column of atmosphere. What will happen is it creates friction, and that friction causes that satellite to burn up, and all of a sudden you got a satellite down. When you turn the instrument off, everything goes back to normal, and you have plausible deniability on a satellite going down because nobody knows this kind of technology generally exists. Now, the other place you can use it in that same application, imagine that column going out several hundred miles into space from its normal atmospheric level way down here. Now you've got an incoming comet or asteroid coming in from outer space at a tremendous velocity. Now normally those objects, when they hit our atmosphere, they again encounter tremendous friction, they burn up, and most objects dissipate before they ever hit the surface. But big objects, the kinds of objects people are worried about, if you could, say, go from 30 miles of atmosphere to 200 miles of atmosphere, almost 7 times as much distance, and project a trajectory downward, what you're able to do in that instance is literally allow those larger objects to burn up way before they hit the Earth. In fact, the Strategic Studies Institute in London, in reviewing Soviet research on this very same technology, was suggesting that it could be used for not an anti-satellite technology so much as an anti-asteroid or comet-based technology. But all of those things also create a side effect. When you move that much atmosphere up into space, and it's about 30 miles diameter, these columns. So imagine 30 miles in diameter and a couple hundred miles up. Well, below that are pressure systems, high pressure, low pressure systems, and jet streams, all of which can be altered by the manipulation of the ionosphere in this way. And that then creates downstream weather effects that cannot be modeled, that cannot accurately be predicted, and therein lies huge problems when you start to manipulate by technology applications to create one effect. You might inadvertently create a number of other effects, as is the case with HAARP. Looking at sort of where are these facilities? You know, here in Alaska, we have one at Gokana, which is about 250 miles northeast of Anchorage. Then going across Canada, there's a number of these facilities that are controlled by the Canadian government. Rosalie Bertel has reported on those. Then there is one that sits right up here in northern Norway, and this is run by the Max Planck Institute. And then there are 5 old transmitters in the former Soviet Union. Literally, when you look, they go around the globe. These can be used in conjunction with each other, triangulating to hit the same point, creating unique and different resonance effects and creating even more power. Flipping the planet upside down, in Antarctica, China put in a facility a couple years ago to begin working in this technology. And then Arecibo, Puerto Rico, in the southeastern, off the coast in the southeastern United States, also has a facility that's been retrofitted to essentially do the same thing as HAARP. Ionospheric heaters, which are what these were previously called, actually originated in the former Soviet Union. People remember them from the 1970s when they created what was called the woodpecker signal, and it was exactly as it sounded. It was this weird static that was rhythmic and coherent, man-made. Ham operators picked it up all over the world, and because they could triangulate where it was coming from, they isolated the location of these 5 transmitters in Russia, or the former Soviet Union. And those transmitters were associated with health effects in Oregon, power failures in central Canada, and a number of other anomalous phenomena in the 1970s. And those were the predecessors of HAARP. It's the very same technology with a modern twist. The old transmitters would take 15 minutes to reset the frequency because you had to readjust all these antennae. Now, with HAARP, it's done in milliseconds by adjusting the software. So, very efficient. You can change things. You can cause them to do different things. It's not a big project in terms of reset. And it's a small expenditure. I mean, HAARP, they've spent $100 million on, which in military terms is like cab fare. You know, it's like it's not even cab fare. It's the snowflake and the pile of snow out front that we walk through in the course of all this. But when you look at the impact of each of these technologies that we've touched on today, it's not the same game anymore. These are earth-shaking technologies, the very technologies that will either transform or enslave. Most science, at least in the U.S., is developed, most of the high science anyway, is developed through military research labs, military contracts, and some contracts to the National Science Foundation. But all of the military work and much of the work done by the National Science Foundation and others represent compartmentalization, separation of the sciences in small bits and pieces. So basically one side doesn't know what the other is doing. In fact, the first paper I ever presented at 19 was on the contrasting sort of our approach of compartmentalization in our approach to science and the Russian approach, or the Soviet approach at that time, which was to use generalists, take people from all disciplines, integrate them into the same room so that you could develop the higher ordered thinking, because then you brought all of these various disciplines, even when they didn't seem to fit, you brought them together and they tended to feed off of each other in a way that built better and more comprehensive science. In fact, as it relates to electromagnetic exposures, the science developed in the Soviet Union said, and they set the regulations, not that they enforced them, but they at least had them on the books, they were 1,000 times more stringent than the U.S. standards in the same areas because of that integrated approach. When you look at the productive capacity of the USSR during the Cold War, they couldn't produce their way, into an outhouse. It was a mess. But what they could do is compete on science. And the way they competed on science with us, and were able to not only excel in some areas, surpass us in others, and stay up with us in most, was by integrated science, as opposed to compartmentalization. It's cheaper, it's more efficient, and it yields usually better results. On the U.S. side, we do the opposite. We continue that model of compartmentalization to the detriment of really good science, and at a huge, huge economic cost. The duplication within that system, the cost of man-hours within that system, and the waste that's created in that system. Now, what does that all mean in the broader context of global science? The U.S. spends in the regular defense budget somewhere around $700 billion a year, which is a big number. We've got a couple wars going on top of that. The Chinese spend about 80 billion is what our intelligence tells us. At least that's what's publicly released. When you run inefficient science, and the Chinese don't run inefficient science, they steal everything they can that's already been developed and then take it from there. And they do it at rice bowl wages. They're not paying top flight scientists $250,000, $500,000 a year in salary and benefits. And they're not paying Davis-Bacon wage rates to build ships. They're building them for a bowl of rice. And what you get in China for $70 billion is what you get in the U.S. for probably far in excess of what we actually spend, because you can't measure it in dollars or currencies. You have to measure it in productive output. And what the Chinese are doing with their productive output is making sure that they can move millions of men and women in their armed services anywhere they want to put them on the planet. That's what's going on there. That for every ship they build, we think about it because they actually build hardware and they build it faster than virtually anyone on the planet, and it's causing a lot of concern. Because when you start to think about how does all this play into the geopolitics of the planet, climate change and energy and the issues that we've been talking about the last couple of days, they really do fit together. China is moving to energy independence. They're building a coal to liquids plant every 18 months from start to finish. They have so many planned online. Their objective is to be free of the West in terms of contributions to basic natural resources. And what are they doing with all the trillions of debt, U.S. debt, that they're collecting? What are they doing with all the dollars that they're collecting? They're going around the world. They're outbidding Western companies by outbidding us on mining opportunities, the venture capital opportunities, the rare earths and mineral opportunities, and all those plays all over the world. They're outbidding everyone. And why are they doing it? Why would you want to hold a bunch of U.S. paper right now that you know is going to be dropping in value? You're better off buying the commodities. When the market fell apart and copper hit $1.30 a pound, which was the lowest it had been in years, the Chinese bought more then than they ever bought in their history, and they bought it all the way up till it blew through the old record price by 10%, while the economy is still in the toilet in the U.S. and Europe, and commodity prices are breaking through the roof. And all those investments those Chinese made with all those cheap U.S. dollars, well, they still had a little bit of value, and we all thought they were nuts for paying 10, 20% more than the market said those assets were worth. What a deal they made on all those commodities, not just what was already finished. And what does it mean, just copper alone? There's 8 days worth of copper in warehouses in the world to fulfill 8 days worth of global demand right now today. That's how underproducing we are in that specific commodity. Zinc, nickel are in similar situations where there's very limited supplies on hand. Rare earths, it's even worse, and all of those are controlled by China. When you start to think about Earth-penetrating tomography as a technology for locating underground mineral resources, as an example, oil and gas resources. Some of that technology was tested, and it was tested in over 20 states on a number of wells that were drilled by Halliburton back back in the 80s and into the 90s. And what they looked at was using a very simple method of earth-penetrating tomography. They were able to look and with absolute 99.9% accuracy, grade and quantity and quality of oil and gas layers through the earth, matching up perfectly against actual drill logs from when they physically drilled those wells using this type of technology. Now imagine, and remember what we were talking about earlier about the public owns energy resources in most instances. In Alaska, in all instances, they're publicly owned. But if you could with certainty image the underground geologic structures and know exactly where oil and gas is, now you no longer have risk associated with the drilling activity, which is why everyone says, we ought not to be in the energy business. But when you can define where those deposits are, then you can maximize or optimize what you get on the lease, because now everyone has good information. People want to bid on that lease competitively. You're going to optimize the public's return on those resources. So using our technology for doing some things maybe makes a lot of sense, but there's lots of ways to do earth-penetrating tomography and to identify those mineral resources, oil and gas resources. H.A.R.P is one of those technologies that perhaps we could use in this way. When Skylab launched the first time, we realized that, back in the 70s, we realized that it created a hole in the ozone layer. And everybody watched it, and they said, after a few hours it all filled in and everything went back to normal. But think about this now. Think about it as a practical matter. The earth is turning, you make a hole, everything's moving, eventually it gets filled in, or it appears to get filled in. Maybe it did, maybe it didn't. Think about if I dip a cup of water out of a pond, and all the water levels back out. Did it fill back up? Well, if I keep dipping those cups of water out of that pond, eventually there is no pond. But it sure looks flat and level from just a couple dipped out. So what was it? I thought Skylab creates an ozone hole. How many billions of cans of aerosol would have had to get up there? And it didn't start down here, It started up there where you actually delivered particulate material to the place that you're trying to affect and created a chemical reaction. 3,000 satellite and rocket launches, over 3,000 worldwide, did more for the ozone depletion on the planet, I assure you, than all the air spray that everybody ever discharged. And again, nobody takes any responsibility. Blame it on the guy with the aerosol can, while governments stand back and go, we didn't do anything here. This is the problem and the arrogance of it all. And often it's the case where the other guy is blamed for something that our own government has done. In fact, if you look at environmental issues generally, virtually all the Superfund sites, 90% of them, are government sites where the government made the mess, and then the rest of us get to clean it up. Now we're experimenting with science that's much, much different than leaving a mess in some local location on the ground. We're manipulating the entire geophysical systems of the planet and trying to learn how to do it better, how to dial it up a little more efficiently, how to control those outcomes with a more precision and a more higher resolution as our science advances. We've written the book Controlling the Human Mind, and we wrote and produced the video Mind Control, which Alex has carried for years. And I always consider that the most important work. Even when you associate some of the mind effects things with H.A.R.P, they're big and they're important. But as we got more into that subject, it became, for me, the most compelling and important work that we've published. Because the idea of interfering with human consciousness, this idea of being able to interfere with free will, if you will, something that even God will not do in most religious traditions, interfere with free will, is now within the capability of man. Should man do it? I say absolutely not. Again, thinking about personal liberty and personal freedom, the basic premise of the First Amendment of the Constitution, the right of free speech, the right of assembly, the right of free expression of religion, all of those presuppose a fundamental right, the freedom to think. That's the First Amendment, because it presupposes all of that. Without the freedom to think, none of the other liberties matter at all. And this is the century that we're in. The CIA, actually the work in this goes before the CIA. You go back to the work at Harvard, work being done at the hypnotherapy labs at Harvard in the 1920s by a guy named Estabrook. And Estabrook had this idea that you could create what we would call today the Manchurian candidate, some super spy that would be pre-programmed to do destruction or gather intelligence, and if captured, would have absolutely no knowledge of any of it. Well, he started this work in the 20s. By the 1930s, his work was classified. By the 1960s, the material he had published, he acknowledged that he created these super spies, that he spent 9 to 10 months, and 1 out of 5 people were subject to this level of programming, where he would subject them to 9 to 10 months of programming where he literally split the personality into 2 separate human beings within the same body, programming one to be the super spy where they could function in another country without detection, and if captured would have no memory of their true self. And yet when they returned to the United States, this altered consciousness could be re-triggered to remember everything they collected in the foreign country and their true self. The problem is, you can't put Humpty Dumpty back together again. Once you fracture a human being in this way, you've effectively destroyed them forever. He believed this was a good idea, and he advanced this technology. And the same material that he published advancing the idea that using LSD to alter people's consciousness for mind control experiments was legitimized and reasonable and a good thing. That's what he wrote in his published work. At the same time, the Central Intelligence Agency later was revealed to be experimenting with LSD on 8,000 men and women in the armed services alone, not to mention the civilian sector. This came out in a congressional report that was on activities within the CIA right after Watergate. When, remember Watergate, there's ex-CIA operatives breaking into this building for the bagmen of the Nixon administration. Well, there are no ex-CIA guys, number one, unless they're dead. And number two, the fact is when they got caught, what they got caught doing were mind control experiments. The church committees and the Congress actually heard the testimony as the CIA busied themselves shredding the documents because they acknowledged over 140 programs under MK Ultra and its sub-programs that were directly involved in the manipulation of human behavior using chemical means and electromagnetic means. And one of the organizations they worked through at the time was the Mankind Research Association, operated out of Bethesda, Maryland, which was a front for Navy intelligence organizations and the Central Intelligence Organization developing mind control technologies and an understanding of what those would be about. More than a Manchurian candidate, manipulating people over huge geographic areas for very specific outcomes. At the same time, they were engaged in a great deal of research on what they called paraphysics, or parapsychology, or ESP in those days. A number of those reports prepared as far as our analysis of Eastern Europe that were eventually released under Freedom of Information Act are posted on our website. And you can go and look there and you'll see hundreds of pages of these declassified documents. They're heavily redacted. I mean, lots blacked out, but you get a general sense of what we were doing. And here's what they discovered. And it's not in the published work. It's not in the other videos. It's not in that material. But here's the conclusions after all of it. And I met the Northwest field director, got to know him real well over the years, of the Mankind Research Association, the kind of stuff they were doing back in the 70s. And he kept his data. He's got a great box of data talking about all of these experimentations. And what they concluded was that, A, extrasensory perceptions, these odd little things that people could do, were real. Not in all instances, but in enough instances to cause them some alarm, military planners. Because what also they discovered is that human beings generally have these innate capabilities that we used to call extrasensory perception. Some have referred to as gifts of the spirit. They come by a lot of different names. But what they are is natural attributes of what human beings are. We're created in the image of a creator. that means more than how we look. It has to do with what we are. And what we are very capable individuals. But in order to reach those higher capabilities, in order to reach those higher states of awareness, in order to actualize your full potential as a human being, you have to be able to slow the mind. You have to be able to create a situation where the mind, if you were to look at it with an EEG and look at the brain activity, you get very coherent, very rhythmic patterns, the kind associated with the emotions of love and empathy and compassion. Same kind of patterns show up. Higher ordered thinking is associated with these coherent patterns, these rhythmic patterns. Fear, flight responses, anger, hate, you get incoherent patterns all over the map at a higher amplitude, at a higher pulse rate that indicate agitation, confusion, the inability to think. What we do know is that in states of fear, worry, and anxiety, you cannot ever reach your higher capacity as a human being. So the easiest mind control technique, keep people in a state of fear and worry and agitation, and we're defeated before the first volley is fired. That's not what we need to be about. You know, when you think about it, when you're walking confidently, consciously doing what you know you're capable of doing, how empowering it is to step into each act that you take on as a human being in a productive and meaningful way, without fear, without worry. It's when your mind falls into what some call that zone, that the active and meaningful way, without fear, without worry. It's when your mind falls into what some call that zone that the athlete knows and the artist knows and every one of us knows in those instances where those sparks of creativity come through. That is our normal state of consciousness. If you're to look at it in the lower range of the alpha range where you are in that most creative mindset, you'd be between 7 and 8, 7 and 9 hertz pulses per second. The planet naturally oscillates at 7.83 hertz pulses per second. Isn't that interesting? Correlates perfectly with the ideal state for awake, conscious living when you're awake. And yet the fields that we surround ourselves with in this room right now, in every room where everyone's watching this because the power grid is operating at 60 hertz, 60 pulses per second, an agitating signal all the time in our background noise, if you will, our noise. Because think about it, in a crowded room, all the noise you hear and you're having a conversation with your friend, and you block out all that background noise. We do the same thing with electromagnetic fields. I'll tell you when you notice it. I couldn't use this analogy in Germany. I'll tell you why in a minute. But think about when the power fails in your community. When the power goes out, completely goes out, the power grid's down. Now everybody remembers it given all the winter storm activity. And the first thing you notice how quiet it is because the refrigerator's not humming along, the air conditioner, the heaters aren't blowing air around. The second thing you notice is how your whole body exhales as you relax. Same feeling when you come in from a hard day of work and you're wearing your insulated soles on your shoes, and the first thing you do is you kick them off and you come back into ground with the pulse rate of the planet and you relax. That relaxation is the silence. Do you know what the sound of being born into an explosion is? Silence. We're living in that explosion, in the fields that surround us every moment of every day. When I used that analogy this last year in Stuttgart, everybody looked at me like I was crazy when I said, you know when the power fails. It never fails in Germany. People with gray hair never remember a power failure since World War II ended. You know, I mean, we don't even think about that. I mean, you talk about the contrast in technology. I can't even use the same analogy in Europe because it doesn't make sense because their technology happens to run smoother. And we invented the power grid for all practical purposes. But again, you know, I say it humorously, but at the same time recognizing under all this are these very real effects that we have to recognize. So how do you learn how to control you? You know, people ask me all the time, you know, you talk about a lot of technologies, generate a lot of concern, some levels of anxiety. That's not my intention. My intention is to inform so we can begin to think about this stuff in a productive, constructive way and how we address it. But more importantly, the more important part of this message, and anything that I've said in the last couple of days, is about the fact that we are more than we think we are. There are no small things. There's only things that are undone. Each thing that we do as individuals matters. It matters a lot, more than you might even realize or recognize. And there are no small things. And what I do versus what you do, it's not a size issue. It's getting the work done. All of us have a sphere of influence, and we need to assert ourselves in that sphere of influence. What that means is it might mean that we have a conversation with our family or our close friends. We don't feel any anxiety having done that. When the anxiety creeps in, back off. Think about what you're doing. It should be like breathing if you're working outside of fear and outside of worry, and you're working in a way that is possible, where you acknowledge it's possible. Do what you know you can do to further your version and your view of the truth, and do it in a respectful way, and do it with confidence. And don't lift the burden. If it's too heavy, there's someone else that'll lift it for you, or lift it with you. But do something in favor of what you believe to be right and true, whether it's on any of the issues we've covered today or on some other issue, but something that you care about and recognize there's a billion other people doing the same thing, and we're not waiting for an organization to form. We're already standing in it. It's called the human race. Participate in it. Be what you were created to be, and assert yourself in the world today by affecting change, by direct action, in a respectful and rational way. And without fear and without worry, because that is the zone in which things can happen. Fear is the adversary. It has always been the adversary, and it's the easiest method of controlling human behavior.
Yes. Words to really ponder on, words to really evaluate, words to recognize. These words are very important. Very, very important. This is the cutting edge on R.F.M. They have video. I go through the paces, trying to really unravel the mysteries and put certain things into perspective, like what we always do. You know, when I was in Gambia, we sat down with some man and them talk about this one-way trip to Mars. I never see the article at all. I just hear the man them talk about it, and I just mentioned it a while ago, and Joy just brought me the printout here. What a wonderful joy in the night here. Oh, joy. Yes, Brian. Touch.
Always smoking. Lyrics like a bazooka. You are listening to Mutabaruka.
Yes. You know, when we say things because people don't publicly hear about it. Sometimes when them say bust news, we bust news for the year. Because it's only we are what I said, people always find it very strange that where we get them news are from. Well, two of the news, this one we are mentioned from last year. Last year, you know, so we mentioned something again, you know, and we are hoping that somebody will go find out and dig it out, you know, that the Queen of England is not the legitimate Queen of England. We keep asking, oh, come on, here, nobody has said this thing, you know. Make it look like, say, I'm me to stir up mischief. There is a documentary that will play a part of it, for say, the Queen is not the legitimate Queen of England. So now, we'll tell you about Lady Gaga. Well, Joy just find the way it name there. It say that Lady Gaga, well, you know, so I will say Richard Branson. Richard Branson have planned a trip to the moon next year. The one of it costs you, it will cost you $250,000 per seat. $250,000 per seat. And them say Lady Gaga go perform. She said she asked her for a second seat on a Virgin Galactic flight to raise money for the Born This Way Foundation. I want to make a moment that is about much more than me. Performing this space is such an honor. I want to challenge myself to come up with something that will not only bring everyone together, but will also have a message of love that blasts into the beyond. Lady Gaga and this man, you know, say Richard Branson is a very rooty kind of billionaire. Remember when he did a launch Virgin flight, I saw him put down at the fires, lock them there and I smoke herbs. Yeah, but it's a reality that them are planning on. Well, the next one where we just mentioned, and we mentioned it last week on the stepping razor, that now I just realized now, say, the numbers, 78,000 people apply for one-way trip to Mars. And them think I go on Earth, you know. You think the Earth easy at all. I'm going to read it out. An artist's impression of Mars once planned first settlement on the Red Planet. An ambitious project to establish a human colony on Mars has attracted applications from tens of thousands of would-be astronauts just 2 weeks after application opened. The mission, a private venture by the Dutch non-profit organization Mars 1, aims to send a crew to the Red Planet in 2022. And due to the psychological change, due to the physiological change in the human body after stay on Mars, there will be no coming back. That hasn't deterred people, though. So far, over 78,000 people have applied to become one of Mars' first immigrants. The company is expecting 500,000 applicants by the time applications close on August 31st. This is turning out to be the most desired job in history, says Bas Lansdorp, co-founder of Mars 1. Wow. Wow. So these people now going to develop a human family on this planet. So all them know say you don't have inhabitants on the planet where them claim the planet long time. That is exactly what them did to the islands and the continents. Them go upon it without any care about the inhabitants of the land and claim it as their own. Now them are planned to go one way. I tell you. Man, what is man? I should have read more of this thing, but I don't read no more. You get the drift. I know you get the drift from your deal with. Man, know thyself. Serious thing. Listen to West out of the Cameroon. This is the cutting edge, and I remember there where you go through the paces. Yes, do it like how we know if we do it. No. We're there at the stage where we'll take some phone call, you know. We'll take some phone call, believe you me. We'll take some phone call. We want to play the tune, do you know? We want to play the tune. Let it go there, so. Let me play the tune.
The kick, the snare, the hi-hat, the bass representing the riot. The next sound is for those who are quiet. I'm abnormal, I'm the odd one. They put me in the class of a man.
You know, so we have to ease up that tune, you know. Believe you me. We have to ease up this tune, yeah. That youth are named Fragrance, King Fragrance. And trust me, he might kick up. Why start over the tune, you know? Make me start over the tune, this tune, trust me, believe you me, that youth are going sweet. He might go on sweet, believe you.
The kick, the snare, the hi-hat, the bass representing the riot. The next sound is for those who are quiet. We built them till, so they're falling to the ground, they're falling down.
No, it's when me hear a man make certain tune. When me hear a man make certain tune, you know, and like he make one tune, and me love the tune, and then him gonna make a next one where, trust me, override the next one. Believe you me, that youth, him did not listen to last week with Elite Kelly, Fragrance, at that him call himself, and we love the vibes where my brain and the intelligence.
The H.A.A.R.P, the bass representing the riot. The next sound is for those who are quiet, fighting against the black stars. Yeah, for the black war. Yeah, look, yeah, you cause all the black scars. Yeah, and you boast about all the things that.
Yeah, intelligent poem, man. May I tell you, intelligence, intelligent poem. Fragrance. Hey, you know, so we're going to take some adversaries and come back to that brethren, yeah? Yes, we'll come back to him because him fit right into the whole thing where we are working with here right now. Forward. Yes. All right, now. So with the Palace Fragrance brethren, you know, yes. And that tune there a while ago. Yeah, we can't even say nothing more than tune. You just listen to it and you just know, say, them kind of tune that we are working with here right now. And this one, yeah. This one, yeah. This one, yeah. This one, yeah.
Wonderful people, I am calling. God's wonderful people, so fighting each other, they're all fighting for. I will.
Yes, continue.
Yes, Rastafari.
Blessed man.
Yes, man, blessed. A long time I look for call today, you know, but bless due to the fact that more time in line get all busy, you know. Second time I talk today, you know, but I want to bring you at the social aspect of life, how things are going in Jamaica.
We should all unite and think about life, cause all of us come from the motherland, and it's the first and final destination of a land, and down there everybody come from.
Yeah, man, brethren are going with things. Brethren are going with things. Yes, Cotton Edge.
Morning, Muta.
Morning, sir.
How are you?
Every day I go through, you know.
Welcome back.
Yeah, man, every day.
Jamaica.
Yes.
Yes, and big up to all our FM crew and H.A.A.R.P, you know.
Yeah.
Yes, I like to share with you the script you was reading earlier on, right?
What that made I read? Tell me what made I read about.
Well, you was telling us about these men who want to go to Mars.
One-way trip, yeah.
Yeah, one-way trip.
Mm.
Yeah, these men crazy, you know. Because you see, these kind of men, yes, because these men just believe in themselves that they are gods and they want to put themselves, put them in a moon and send them.
No, but wait there. Why is it, why you think to them are God because they want to go to the Mars?
Yes, because you see, they send man from Earth, them into the moon.
Yeah, so I say, we're wrong with that.
Well, they are doing their research, but according to our knowledge, as a Rasta man and serving the King Selassie, I got all families, you know. So they are doing these things to really try to fool the world again.
Fool the world, say what? That may ask you. What am I fool the world say?
But I want to tell us that is them in there because they call it the Red Land, you know.
The Mars, they might call the Red Land, you know. Mars, and on the moon, they might call it the Mars.
Yes, they are saying it, yes. But if according to them, they find a new land and...
We can sustain human life.
Yes.
Yeah, but where God and devil and all them things have to do with it. A man explore different things. Man have the knowledge, the power, so him do it. So we're wrong with that.
Well, my belief is this, according to what I read, you know, and learn, I believe none of them could never get there.
Never get there? At the moon and Mars?
Yeah, Mars, should say.
Oh, you mean none of them couldn't get there? Why them couldn't go there? Mars is a planet. Mars is a planet. You can't stay. You look through the way name. They are seed.
Yes, it is a planet, but they are trying to what they are trying to develop Mars that only certain kind of color people can go there.
No, them never said nothing about no color, man. Me I say what it have to do with God and trying to be God because the man them want to fly go a Mars. Me don't understand how that coming at devil and God and all them something there.
Okay.
Like computers supposed to be devil thing too. People who have a religious mind feel say if man develops something out of the capacity that God supposed to give him, it's devil business. So, man create computer, now me hear man I say a devil thing. Man create cell phone, yes, a devil thing.
Well, what I learned...
Some man I go to Mars, or you say, I don't understand what is it that should happen. Why man shouldn't go there?
Let me share it with my understanding that I learned. See, yes. Man who says they want to go to Mars,
yeah,
to develop
the moon,
another world from the world we are living in.
Yeah,
and they are making plans to differ themselves and to call themselves great and God.
Why you say that? Why you say them a plan to do that?
Because why I say the Almighty, who is the first one who made computers and who is the master of computers, and they put man here, man wants to believe in themselves that they want to overpower him.
It comes like you smoke some bad herbs, you know. Oh, making computer means that you want to overpower God.
Well, alright. I said making computers is they only develop on what was there before.
From who? God did make computer?
Well, according to what I read once, it told us that.
Which part you read that? Which part you read say God create computer?
Well, I read it from a book that I was looking into from
where the book name? Where the book name? Where you say God create computer?
H.A.A.R.P, I think his name.
What God did I do with computer? When did I do with the computer?
Well, it was only saying to us that the first computer made was by them. So when man come to develop it now, to say that they are making it, you understand me, it was already been there.
No, but when I said where it was, where the computer was before man make it, where it was.
Well, it was with the human being still, you know. But it's only because they come and take it and develop it up, you know, and put it into...
Well, you're confused, my brother. It's either me, I get confused or you totally confused.
Well, I wouldn't want it to be that.
Oh, you tell me now, say God make computer for some man to develop it. I tell you which part God did that. Where God did that do with computer? Where God need computer for do?
Well, alright. According to...
Yeah, waste your credit, you know. You know, say you waste your credit.
Well, I wouldn't want to say that. But, you know, what I read, that's what I'm sharing with you. You know?
You read, say God make computer and man that's develop on it.
Yes, he said the first computer made was by the Almighty.
So what was God doing with the computer?
Well, all right, let us...
Why God need a computer? When he need a computer for, he can't think.
Yes, he think, but
yes. God is an omnipotent, omnipresent, omniscient, and he need a computer, and make a computer.
Yeah, it is like how the man them did with 9/11.
So yeah, the computer where God made it connect to digital or lime, or which one of them it connect to?
None of them is only man just putting that now.
So who for computer God computer where it connect to?
The connection made for the purposes of man to use it at the end of time.
Man,
learn it that way because that's what it is.
Yeah.
Yes, because
which church you go, Bridget? Which church you go?
I am Orthodox, you know.
Yeah, man, I know, man. That's some church thing I go on.
And hortically fully, I know.
Orthodox. Yeah, man, that church thing. Me know say that church thing I go on this, man.
No, well,
I'm going to church people reason them way then. I'm going to church people reason them way, yeah.
No, when you say church, there's a reason. There are churches into a church.
No, me I tell you, it's only Christian. Christian people reason them way, yeah.
Yeah, well, I mean, Christian. When we say Christian and
no,
church.
no, when we say Christian, whether you're Orthodox, Roman Catholic, Seventh-day Presbyterian, a Christian. Me say it's only Christian reason like all your reason.
Yes, but there are a certain kind of Christian who...
No, it no matter not certain kind. No, watch out. It no matter about not certain kind. Any Christian me I talk about. I saw them reason.
Yes,
Christian are we reason we identify Christian, and that's so Christian reason.
Muta, he talks about it, you know. There are men on earth who know more than some man. You agree? Like the I who...
Yeah, so you know... So which part you get the knowledge say God make computer?
Yeah, I was studying a book and I saw
a man want to moon because he want to overpower God.
Yes, that is it.
God cannot be overpowered.
I want us to believe if them put themselves in a moon. All right, man saying go a moon. Do you believe them go a moon?
Yes. And them go far than the moon too. Them go far than the moon.
No light in the moon.
All
right, if
them go far than the moon too. The sun reflect the moon reflect the sunlight. It have no light.
Yes, because the sun is a disk for the moon. And I mean, if them say them go to moon, that means them go to sun too. And then go to stars.
Where you get them foolishness there from?
No foolishness.
If a man go to the moon, him say him go to the sun too. The sun then 93 million miles on the earth.
Muta, wait no man, listen man.
No, wait a minute, must wait to foolishness attack.
I am saying, just give it 1 minute and listen what I'm saying. Them say them go to moon.
Yeah.
But I am saying, if them go to moon, them go to sun too.
Why? The sun and the moon are two different things.
Eh?
The sun and the moon are two different things.
Yes.
But
they work together.
No, that I like them to say, why I go Miami, I go California too.
Well, I mean, as Chronic to say that the world is a capsule and reality.
So explain to me what you mean, say, if you go moon, you go sun too. Because the sun,
all right.
the sun, man can't exist in the sun. So,
what it is, Father made the sun and the moon and stars. Take a mustard seed from Tefa and put it into, and make it into take seven from and make it into...
7 what?
He take...
Stop regurgitate where you read, no, man. Where you regurgitate where you read and can't remember where you read. That means you know you come from.
Yes, man.
You don't believe where you say, man. You regurgitate where you read. That means if you can't remember where you read it, you don't have no sense. If you can't remember where you read it, means you don't have no sense.
You take a mustard seed from Tefa.
Yeah.
And split it up into 7 parts.
Yes.
Right? You give 1 part to the sun.
Yeah.
2 parts to the moon.
A mustard seed.
Yes. And the 5 parts to make it into many stars, which is the galaxy we're looking upon.
So how much galaxy?
Is this? Galaxy we're looking upon.
Yeah.
They're in the heavens.
Yeah.
Right. Man who on earth who believe in themselves, although God is man, you know, we know that too. Rastafari.
Oh, God is man too.
God is man.
Okay.
God, Rastafari.
That means we are get somewhere now then, because if God is man then and man make computer, that means God didn't make computer then.
Yes, so that me telling you, Celestia, God was the first one who told us about it.
So is man make computer because man is God?
Yes, it made my man.
Yes.
Yes.
And his man make the sun and the moon.
Well, spiritually, yes, when you take it into
spiritually. The moon and the sun are not spiritual. You tell me that God is man, so his man make the sun.
Yes, but let me finish.
And man make the moon, and man make all of the stars in the sky.
Let me explain what I'm saying, man. Yeah.
Yeah, but you take too long for explain. You have to call me back. You have to call me back because you take too long to explain the foolishness. You have to call me back. All right, now. Where we there? We're there 37 minutes past. Make me play that. You know, the problem with these reasons is that sometimes God is not man and sometimes man is not God. You know them way there, and then sometimes man is God. Because if the man say that God make computer first and then man make it a fight, he must separate man from God. And then him go back go now say, man is God. So which is which? The religion confuse people brains, you know, because you have to regurgitate when you read in a book to come to the reality and understanding of just life and nature in itself. You're supposed to learn from the sun, the moon, the star, the heat, air, and the water, woman, man, picnic, children, birds, bees, flowers, and trees. You can't just keep regurgitate what you read. What you read is not real. Real is literature. Literature is what man make up in our brains. But mustard seed and God put mustard seed. And a man make the sun and the moon and the star. And them might tell you about God and the sun the day before God. And them tell you now say a God make the sun, the moon and the star. If you confuse the thing now because you tell me now say man a God now. If man a God, oh the sun, the moon and the star get made by man. And we know say man a flesh. And then now you have to turn man now into some spirit thing now and get supernatural. That's why I hope a man hold Selassie as a supernatural being, like how the Christian them hold Jesus. And that's how the confusion come. The confusion come because whole heap of Rasta are tried to turn Haile Selassie into Jesus Christ and get confused. And that is where enslave we. Because we can't let go off that idea there, that 2,000 years idea there. Because after we come down and we see Haile Selassie now, we have tried to turn Haile Selassie into something we got 2,000 years ago, before we let go that. And then start tell man say, God make computer and Haile Selassie is God. Then how that work out? Where God make computer for? A man make the computer, and if man make the computer, you say man is God, then I will agree with you. I will totally agree with you. If you say man is God and a God make computer, I will agree. But when you start to separate man from God, and you start to say no, God is the author of computer, or the originator of computer, and then man come now just come cross from it, and then you turn around come say man is God and take mustard seed and put in a sun and set the moon and all these things, and a confusion in a room, pure confusion. Yes.
Muta.
Yes, sir.
All right, I'm still here. Listen, man. You see, let me tell you something, you know. You see,
oh, you still up on the phone? Oh, gosh, man, the man still up on the phone. Yes, sir, you have enough phone call, enough phone.
Yes, man, but I'm set up myself to deal with this.
Yes, yes.
All right, let me tell you something. You see, Orthodox teach us our languages. And if we know language.
Who is a teacher?
Orthodox.
Orthodox Church.
Yes, teaches us our language.
Yes.
And in the time of teaching us our language, he teaches us these things as well too.
Teach you what? That mustard seed make son?
Listen what I say.
A mythology that man, a mythology. You have to go find out what it means when it said that. It's not the literal mustard
then
seed.
They explain it to us, you know. They said, he said take a mustard seed from Tefa, Dayan, and bring it.
Bring it where?
And bring it to earth.
Which mustard seed you talk about? The mustard seed we know about? Mustard seed?
Yeah, where we call mustard seed.
Yeah, you know mustard seed, the little black seed there. The little black seed there.
I will tell you who saw that a mustard seed. That's where you believe.
Alright, tell me where you said mustard seed.
When you speak about mustard seed, you could define it as a small seed that went into the earth and bear and it stayed there and grow and become a big tree.
Then what me just say a while ago? Yes, me ask if when you say mustard seed, if a little mustard seed what me know, the little black mustard seed, that you talk about?
The one with the interpretation of it.
No, you ever see a mustard seed yet, brethren?
If I ever see
you ever see a mustard seed, a literal mustard seed? You ever see a literal mustard seed yet?
Well, I never see a literal mustard seed.
Alright, well I see mustard seed.
Yes.
It's a common thing. Me cook with mustard seed all the way. So what may I say to you?
Alright. Yes.
What is the mustard seed that you are talking about?
All right, the mustard seed is likened unto a tree that a little seed that you plant in the earth and it stay there and develop a
any seed, it not to be a monster. Any seed where you plant in the earth become a big tree.
Yeah, but let us define the part where we define we was talking about where he used this mustard seed and made these things.
Literally use the mustard seed and make the sun.
Yes.
The literal mustard seed.
And make the sun, moon, and stars.
So him take something out of the earth and make the sun.
Yes, Mutaman.
So it's not the sun come before the earth. So the sun never there before the earth. Wait there.
You know that.
Hold on. Was the sun there before the earth or the earth there before the sun? Which one was
the earth? Was before the sun.
The earth was before the sun.
Yeah, the earth.
Which part you get that from?
Then Muta, if it said the earth was in darkness.
In the beginning.
Yeah, in the beginning was the
earth was without form. Wait no.
Yes.
In the beginning.
Yes,
wait no man. A Bible you read, right? In the beginning. Wait no man. In the beginning, God created the earth. Wait. Listen to me, I say. In the beginning. We are talking about the beginning now. Was the word.
Yes.
And in the beginning, God created the heaven and the earth. And the earth was without form and void. And darkness was upon the face of the earth.
Yes. Sir.
And God said, let there be light. And there was light.
Right. So that's where
so wait, no. So you are saying now, because the Bible said the earth the day before the sun.
Not only this King
Wait, no, man,
no,
every Bible say it, man. That's the same Bible, man. Jesus, Christian.
No, man. Wait, what I read in the King James version, not in the Pacomega that I read. It's totally different thing.
Watch out. The same Bible them use in Ethiopia when in America are the same King James Bible. Are the same thing.
No. You take back that.
It just have more book. Brethren, listen to me. Listen to me now. All the difference between the Ethiopian Bible in Ethiopia and the King James is that the Ethiopian Bible have more book in it. The difference between
more knowledge.
No, me more confusion too. But when me I say
that Orthodox Rasta sitting no confusion.
No, listen to me I say brethren. Yes. The Amharic Bible in Ethiopia start the same way like the King James Bible in England.
Man, let us get real. Let us get real, Rastafari.
I get no real, brethren. Let
us get real.
There's no difference between the Amharic Bible and the King James Bible other than more books tonight.
No. Take back that Muta. Real thing.
I have the two of them. I have the two Bible there. I have the Amharic Bible. I have the King James Bible.
Let me tell you, the Amharic Bible
are the same thing.
Give you totally different.
It's not different. In the beginning,
from the King James.
In the beginning, God created the heaven and the earth. And the earth was without form and void, and darkness was upon the face of the deep. And God said, let there be light, and there was light.
So right there, him take the mustard seed and make...
Which part I him take mustard seed? Which part you read him take mustard seed in that?
Alright, he take it from Tefa. Because you
which part Tefa there? Where Tefa there?
Therefore, is above the heavens of where we live on earth.
That's come like Greek mythology. And mythology that, brethren. Mythology.
No, man. No mythology. Because,
you know what is a mythology? You know what is a mythology? You know what is mythology? You know what is mythology?
Yes, but
what is mythology? What is mythology? What is mythology?
Muta, don't confuse the thing, man.
What is mythology? What is mythology? You say you know what is mythology. What is a mythology? When somebody say mythology, what are they speaking about?
In that mystery.
Here you know. What is mythology? Is a myth? Mystery?
Mystery.
Define mythology. When somebody say mythology, is a mystery?
Well, tell me. I don't know. So tell me then.
Then, brethren, a mythology, me just ask you about it, and you tell me, you know what is a mythology. I know you tell me, must tell you what is mythology.
Yeah, but I tell you and you say it's not that. So I say,
so I'll tell you something now. Say, go find a dictionary.
Yes.
And look at the dictionary and see what mythology means.
Yeah, tell me back in the English language now. We have a blindfold me again.
Where you talking? Where you talking? No English language you talk?
Yes, presently. But I can talk. Salam Talekik Ziabe Kidusi. I can talk it to you now. I know the language.
All right. Say the first two verses of the Bible in Amharic. In Giz. Say the first two verses of the Bible in Giz. Say it.
In the King James version or the Amharic version?
Say, I never tell about no King James and Amharic. I say the first two verses of the Bible in Giz. All
right. The first word I will say Yahweh. Or is
Yahweh is not a Giz word. Yahweh is not Giz.
Alright, remember, Giz is one you sing, you know. Giz
Yahweh is not Giz. Brethren, you don't get go talk that in your church, man. Giz is not, Yahweh is not Giz.
No, man, let me tell you, man. When you talk about the church, that's what a lot of us is hiding from. Because the truth is there and none of them know want to come in and come learn the right thing.
Alright, why you want to spend the whole time on the radio? I go like to use a special guest.
No, don't talk that.
You go like a special guest and me don't really want to hang up on you. But me want to hang up on you. Me want to hang up on you because somebody will cuss me and say, Muta, you make the man tape on the phone so long, Rasta.
Alright, well, when you get to know it as I do, and many thousands of millions that teach you up and even know it like me, because them are glad in themselves because them know what me I tell you.
Know the mustard seed?
Yes, even from the mustard.
Alright, your credit gone. Your credit not gone. Yeah. I tell you, you have
credit. Credit to go. So we'll talk another time. Have a good night.
Yeah, man, we always have a good night, Bridget.
I mean, your friend talk to you, I such a your friend where you come out.
No, me your friend, but where you say?
Because it's the last my name. I'm sorry, my name R.C. Thomas.
Where your name?
My name is Pekade.
Yeah. Pekade Selassie.
Pekade Selassie, and my name is Raphael called R.C. Tomlinson.
What R.C. mean? I hope I know the Jamaican word them, you know, where you know want to call upon the radio.
No, man. My name changed from that and go to...
Yeah. All right, sir. All right. See you the credit that you keep the emergency. Yes, blessed. Yes. If you take with them book them from black people, them not have no spirituality in them. All of them book there, where if you take it from them, where them call holy book, we last man, because we can connect with simple things like a leaf, or like a petal, or like a bees, or like even a lizard. We can connect with these things, so we have to have a book to explain that which cannot be explained. All these verses are verses to explain that which cannot be explained. Because the man who say him find God, you have to suspect him because God no last. And that we are saying, yes. Cutting edge. Cutting edge, what you do, man? You're talking an echo chamber, you know. Where them put in an echo chamber? Come out of the echo chamber, man.
Really, let me take it off. I think I'm there in Florida, I'm there, you know.
Where you do in Florida?
But, just cool. Over the funny road,
you're supposed to be at Oklahoma. You're supposed to be at Oklahoma.
Every time I put me out Oklahoma, I put me out Oklahoma motor. I listen to the brother and I say, yeah, them reason, you know?
Yeah. Where you say?
I'm out motor. I listen to the brother and I say, yeah, them reason, you know?
Yeah. Where you say?
I just say, them, when you come on to Christianity again now, they say the fundamentalist thinking, they have no reference point other than the Bible again. So, what them see, they saw them and say, yes, this is it. But that fundamentalist thinking, when them say God and them think, them think it universal, everybody, I hit them a deal. Because me assure a brother I think what happened to a guy, and the man I tell me, say, boy, a devil. Which me I tell me, say, the brother not really a devil in him thinking, because it's not a Christian-minded brother, so he would have want to plant the devil in a man's life. He say, boy,
as a Christian.
When you check it out, it's some natural occurrences. And
then a Christian create devil, man. Watch out. A Christian create the devil pan we, you know. And we have no concept of devil and them come put devil pan we. Them supposed to go, you know.
Who is devil? Who is devil? Who is the devil? Where is the devil there?
If I ever catch him, Mr. Man.
If even say God come and kill all him own son before he kill the devil. Me, I kill the devil first. If the devil, I the one that cause certain problem right now.
Yeah. Where you kill your son for? Instead of your son. Where you not just kill the devil and left your son, man?
Yeah, so you say...
Go around the bush business. Go around the bush. Go around the bush thing.
Three things we have fear in the night. Your bedroom when him Abayuba.
Abayuda.
Yeah, whenever I come up on the program, you know I listen to
him. Him no live here in Oakland. Him live. Him no live here.
Okay.
I just when him come on me and inspire, but him no live here.
In book outdoor, the book about the journey to the
I don't
root
think
of-
so. I don't think it's out yet. I don't think
It's
so.
already yet?
No.
Alright. Stuart, when you can play a Stuart Wild for me again, Silent Power.
Yeah, we played that a whole heap of time already, man. You want to hear the same thing over and over, Rasta?
Yeah, when me I try to dig it up in my files and from last year,
You know the brethren that just called a while ago, right? We are talking about the church business, and you see, we are find out that a whole heap of man don't want believe, say, the same Bible where man read, so in a Orthodox church, are the same Bible them read in a Ethiopia, you know.
Yeah,
like the Psalms them are the same Psalms them in the King James Bible, are the same Psalms them in the Bible of Ethiopia. Genesis, Exodus, Leviticus, it's just that it have more books. You see? It's like the Catholic Bible. Catholic don't mean Roman Catholic, you know, it means universal. Catholic mean universal, you know, alright. So the Catholic Bible have some books in there where them sell separate from the normal King James Bible. Them call it the Apocrypha. The Apocrypha, the Apocrypha is a group of books that was not placed in the authorized Bible because them say it was not divinely inspired. So them put it separate. Yeah. Some of the books in the Apocryphas are 1st and 2nd Maccabees. Them have songs of them have Esther, yes, them have Enoch, the book of Enoch. Them have about 14 books them have with don't incorporate in the King James Bible. You see, and that is where now the Ethiopian Bible now. The Ethiopian Bible have all of them books there. Yeah. Judith, the book of Judith. And they have other books too where you can find like the Gospel according to Thomas, the book of Mary, Nathan,
Mary Magdalene.
Yeah, all of them books there.
You know,
but it's the same. It's the same story. It's the same story, not a different story, you know.
We find the last book of Eden. They ever read the last book of Eden?
Books of the Bible. I mean, if you never read it, man, and the forgotten books of the Bible, them book, there are some books.
Yeah, they give one different story, like, you know.
Lilith, yeah, twin sister. Yeah. Twin
and
sister.
Me tell a man, I say, why we can't believe that? Somebody said, then that story again, why we can believe that? I want to pay attention to this.
Because it's not in the King James Bible. That's why them don't believe that. You have a next book name, The H.A.A.R.P. Gospel of Jesus Christ. You ever read a book there yet? By Levi? What? It named The H.A.A.R.P. Gospel of Jesus Christ by Levi. They show you how Jesus Christ, when he youth, him kill some youth because the youth they mash up him mud man, where him did that make, him mud bird.
Yeah. Then check out the H.A.A.R.P.
It named The H.A.A.R.P. Gospel of Jesus Christ. I want all book, man. The H.A.A.R.P. Gospel of Jesus Christ.
No,
by a man named Levi.
You know?
No, but
like you said,
why I bring up that, you know, is to say that there's a school of thought that when you go Ethiopia, Genesis is a different Genesis, and Exodus is a different Exodus, and Leviticus is a different Leviticus. It's the same thing. It's the same thing. It's just that one is in, like how you have a German Bible, like when we go to Nigeria, I'm going to the market, you go buy a Nigerian Bible, but it's the same Bible, just that it's not for them language.
I bring up a next thing too. In a Rasta, they would have put Selassie in a Jesus vibration.
Then you know, the man say a while ago, the man say God make the computer first, and then man is developer of it, and then him turn around now come say it's God. Man is God. So if man is God, I agree. Say God make computer first. But if you want to put God in that separate entity and then place man below God, I couldn't go place man below God.
Yeah, guys, it's true them say, you know, they teach your children where man is not separate from God. But most people don't see it like that. They don't see divinity.
No, them say God out this so a man over here so. That's what them see, them say God over there so a man over here so. So them can't connect with that energy because them separate the energy from themselves. And there's no energy that exists outside of you, which is God.
Yeah. So if I decide on your own destiny, I mean, I got that.
Well,
So
that's why I don't like use the word God. That's why I don't like use the word God, you know, because it gets confusing
the conversation them get twisted up like you say who make this and who make rain fall and it going on some different dimensions.
Can I tell you about mustard seed? No, I mean a mythology. It's like Brother Nancy. No wrong with a Brother Nancy story, you know. It's a mythology. Snake, just like the Bible till it say the serpent attack to the woman. That is a mythology.
Yeah.
No serpent don't talk to no woman. And the sun a move and all these things and donkey attack. And man should go down rather than turn in that snake. These things are mythologies. It never happened. It's not real. It's literature. Literature is man creating stories.
But it become history now, you know?
Yes, and that is stupid. See, we don't want to read history book. We want to read literature books. So when them go to... Yeah, may I listen?
Yes, I say mustard seed and the time go plant some seed, you know. Like the reality.
He might tell me, say, when me I call mustard seed, that's not real mustard seed. I mean, no mustard seed. Never pack them up. You can't go to Indian store go buy mustard seed. People use it and sprinkling at them pot. Indian use mustard seed all the while. Most Jamaican don't know mustard seed, but they mean about mustard seed. Mustard seed is a fine black seed, you know.
Okay.
Yeah, it's fine, very fine black seed. So when I'm talking about... why them use the mustard seed for continue this mythology is because they show you how small the seed is. And them only lighten the smallness to that seed, the mustard seed.
Okay.
You know, see, he might use it figuratively if you say, look at this little thing here, this little mustard seed here. And they might show you how fine the mustard seed is. So when I forgot to say a mustard seed, you say how fine the mustard seed is and why it is used figuratively. To show and define certain things.
And him don't have no proof, and you know, a proof and knowledge of him really
but no mustard seed make the sun. He must say mustard seed make the sun and God take one mustard seed make the sun, one make the moon and one make the galaxy.
God, I get crazy.
And he must say a real thing. It's like he has to say yes, a real thing because it's in the Ethiopian Bible.
Yeah.
But if me have to go be an Ethiopian and turn idiot like that, right? I better go to Iceland, believe, man. Anyway, brethren,
give thanks, man. Give thanks. You know,
blessed man. Yes, Papa. That's why it reach. Like a mustard seed. Serious thing, you know, them have an organization in Jamaica named Mustard Seed. Where if you go to the Catholic them and ask them about the mustard seed, they will tell you exactly what I tell you. It's not no joke business. Mustard seed is a very small seed. That is why it is used continuously to define and use as a metaphor for greater meaning. It don't mean say the physical mustard seed make the sun and make the earth. It might talk about particles, maybe expand and then explode and then implode. Particles that makes these things. It's not the mustard seed itself. It's like when they say them talk about Big Bang, the Big Bang theory, where things expand and then contract. I don't know. Oh, anyway, yes. Cutting edge. Yeah. Somebody are driving, you know. I drive that somebody they are driving, you know. All right, yeah. 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 Yes.
Well, yeah.
May I listen to you, brethren?
Yeah, man. You know, someone did this one. In other society, we kind of bring up in a very strange education system. Because you see, the schools where we attend, I don't know about the eye, but the school where we attend is a very racist school because they will send on black people for some very, very low hair, and all the white people, them.
See with them long hair, the Chinese people, them and thing, yeah.
I walk around with long hair and all this.
That is a problem for years, brethren.
Yeah.
Years
and
problem.
Then the teachers, just look on Haiti the other day, them not teach us nothing about Haiti. Them say the reason why people Haiti in the state that it is in right now is because
voodoo.
Black people can't run nothing.
Yeah,
but they never teach us nothing when France threatened Haiti and thief how much francs from them.
Yeah, and they have to pay reparation. They have to pay reparation back to France.
Of course.
Yeah. Black people can't run nothing but a weed around the world until some evil things come up on us. Then the black people want to do First World War and Second World War. But white people are killing white people in Europe.
Them not call that, that is the thing, them not call that, them call that World War, you know.
Yeah.
Them not call it European War when that is
them not call it Tribal War. Them not call it Tribal War.
Them not call it Tribal War, them call it War in Africa.
World War, yeah.
But, you see what them do? Them, if you tell people nowadays about Africa, they must say a bear war in Africa. Them no look on America
come from Africa.
Instigate enough war from 1930s.
From long time.
Yes,
before that too. Brethren, me just come from Africa, and I am traumatized. You know why I'm traumatized? Not the first me go to Africa.
5 murders per year.
It's the first me go in a country where police no carry gun and it's 5 murder per year them have. And I am saying, if this is the Africa where man tell me about a fool, where you go and go Africa, because it's a terrible thing, because we 5 murder per day, don't you? So in a weekend, you know, and people say, where you want to go Africa for? You know, so them kill people down there and war down there. Africa is not a country, Africa is a continent.
We did stand up a Cafe Africa, wait for see, you know, but for Monday, but you come late, man. Stand up there 6:45 about.
Come late? Me not come no late, man. How you say, man? Me down there when the bridge then Kuma talk about.
And no, 6:45 minutes they down there, sir. So they want to play some Gambian music, but it's a beautiful music for the little 5 minutes to stand up there, so. Beautiful.
No, man, me there, man.
No, man, more walk around and never see you, man.
No, when I try to show you, say, me there because me stand up there, me talk for about an hour after.
Oh,
after Nkuma, the daughter when name Sharon. Them watch your video. You never see the video, you never see the slide them with them to that show.
No, me never did it for so long.
Then that me I show you say you never did it. And me did it, you never did it. Because me see the slide them.
But you did it before you, man.
Yeah, you did it when it never start. Yes.
But then when them just say, alright, we're going to start now. And that time
and then you go away after that.
Yeah.
Now, man, you should have stay, man. You should have stay.
Alright, give thanks. But I just want to say, black people and all have a stand call for right, you know.
Yeah. Which school you go, Bridget? Which school you go?
What school me go?
Yeah.
Woolmars.
You go? Yeah. My daughter used to go Woolmars too, you know. Yeah, my daughter used to go Woolmars too. Alright, Bridget, give thanks.
Alright.
Yeah. Yes, that was a Woolmars youth there in the middle of the night, so believe you me, stretching the reasoning, because we're in a serious problem. We can't recognize we're not a problem because them play a thing pan way. You understand? Them play a thing pan way. Rome is not a friend, yes.
Hold on.
Blessed.
Yeah, shift you made little difference, you know.
Eh?
Shift you made little difference.
Yeah, man, I mean shift it, yes, so you mean?
Come on, they kind of get the meds a different.
Shift it, Bridget, shift it.
Where do you go Gambia? Which Jamaican parish come to your mind?
Which Jamaican what?
Parish come to your mind.
No Jamaican parish not come to my mind.
When you go to Gambia, you got the president and you see them things where you call Ruta and I tell him about.
No, none of the parish them not come to my mind when me there.
Oh, but now say one some more of them things around here where you go see.
What that? What that?
The juju thing where you tell Ruta.
We want some juju around here. They no only pan it there, man, but we no want to accept it. Only pan juju there, I know.
We want some more right, especially in
where you want to do it? Where you want to do the juju?
Right here, that's it. It can't help you with your motor.
But me can't go depend on juju and no help carry me through, you know.
No, like, say that things they will carry. You know, before go there some more.
You know what carry through?
Yeah.
The love for yourself and others, man. That is what carry through. The love for yourself and others. We don't have to have no juju to carry through. The love for yourself and others, and how we respect and relate to each other. How we relate to nature. How we relate to the plant. How we relate to the birds, the bees, the flowers, the trees, the lizard. How we relate to them today.
Culture. Tell them how you do thing one different way.
You can't help it because you know this brother I tell me what they must sprinkle olive oil around one youth because the youth have epilepsy. And they must spread olive oil and say, man, you go heal the youth and I talk about get away now, spirit, get away. Coming to me. Want a man box me in face to rat it, but.
That's a Jamaica, yeah?
I mean, they never see on TV at tweet. What are they with a Nigerian priest to attack damn foolishness about olive oil? I say then don't know about olive oil. I say why you can't use coconut oil? Suppose you have the olive oil.
Yeah. But I don't send a little bit. I want to send some way up at St. Thomas.
Yeah, but them not sleep now, man. Yeah, send.
No, I want to send it to the Princess Margaret Hospital.
All right, sir.
Yeah. You go to all of the Princess Margaret Hospital nurse, them put the man and woman.
You did in there?
No, I'm a mother in the right.
Oh, your mother in there? Okay. Warm to her.
Yeah, it's like the CNJ thing. I want to big up all the downtown eagle them we are moon for the eagle them we drop out. Remember the eagle them we used to talk about how them take some something, make up some something.
Yeah, make live, yes.
Yeah, one of them drop out suddenly and it look like a some juju thing. I mean, yesterday, the whole downtown.
Watch a man. Jamaican people know. Watch a man. You know.
Yesterday, what you want to move? My mother used to.
If I had drop on a Jamaican put him say Jojo, I will be a cousin.
You want to move?
If them fail them exam, them say I will be a cousin. If them have $1,000 and the last $1,000 it last because them careless. Them say I will be a do it.
Most of years, my mother used to work with the lady. My mother sick to serious. The lady drop out and lay down. My mother.
Still alive?
My mother sick before the lady and the hospital. And the lady come and drop out.
Yeah. That means your mother worked your juju upon her?
No, but mother, catch me little juju catch my mother took her mother the domestic help of yours.
Yeah.
So it look like juju catch my mother. But
juju no catch, tap your damn foolishness, man. Juju no catch your mother, man.
Alright,
what did doctor say to your mother? What did doctor say to your mother?
They don't want to tell you yet.
Because them afraid they go jump up and down and go like you're idiot.
No, I'm the one that keep up. Everybody broke down and I say, yeah, but I'm going to keep up everybody. I'm going to send them, you know.
Nobody not set no juju by your mother, man.
We're not sending no juju.
No go some man, but juju set by you. Nobody can say juju by me, you know.
No, we don't say that juju.
Me the biggest Obia man wrote the place, juju man wrote the place. Nobody can set them thing by me. First of all, me not afraid of ghosts, me run ghosts. Me a dopey conqueror. You know, Bob Marley has about I'm a dopey conqueror.
Yeah,
dopey have to run from me with them seed.
So the president, he lift up the machine up in the side of you. How that shit about the inside?
Me a look on him. Oh, you mean, me a look on him and say, all right, because what am I going to do? You know what I'm saying? It's only parties that go through me, you know. But me know, say, me a survive with it. Look here with him, though. Me a go survive.
Yeah, them cut the catch you and them.
No, when you catch me or not, you know, me still not going to survive, you know. You know, see, because me a show you say,
yeah.
Me go me go some place, I can tell you something. I mean, I say it because me a boss or nothing. Me go some place where me know say no Jamaican nah go there. You understand? Because me inquisitive, you know. Me want to find out, you know. Me go some, that's why me catch all malaria, you know, Rasta. Me come back to Jamaica nearly dead, you know. Me go in hospital for 7 days because they have to pump out all malaria out and me go down on my yard and spray the place and me under quarantine, you know.
You know that cheap, yeah?
Eh?
That's cheap, yeah?
No, man. Like, couple years ago, man.
Let's go see what I go on.
You ever see them place? You ever see some little people them called pygmy?
The little people?
Yeah, you never see the little people there, them called pygmy.
I'm not sure.
Yeah, but you see them in a Tarzan show, though. You know, a Tarzan show.
Oh, yeah.
Let me tell you something, man. Let me tell you something. Yeah. You have some place in H.A.A.R.P, man.
You go see them natural, Muta.
Me go in America. Me go sit down amongst the Hopi Indian them.
Yeah.
And the most peaceful set of Indian them you'll ever find, man. In America there, the Arizona. Sit down amongst them. And
sure to them.
Hey, watch out, man. Not them thing there, watch out. If me a walk on the road, you know, a gunman me a scared about, you know.
Yeah,
no dopey can't frighten me, you know. No dopey. Because first of all, I transfer myself in a dopey first before the dopey come. Dopey can't frighten dopey.
From your 6 years, I live at St. Thomas. I come like every day I want to see dopey.
Yeah, alright, you know, say, me know some people, a man and them family will live on a cemetery. Them live in a cemetery.
Yeah.
And when we go in at the cemetery, I say, them brethren, tell me the truth now. You never say, I don't prefer you living here. I said, no, sir, 30 odd years me living here. I never say. I'm asked to picnic them. The picnic them said, no, a cemetery them living here, you know. The whole family living at the cemetery, you know.
Then get all picnic in the cemetery.
The picnic them live in at the cemetery. Then when them go, watch out, when them go school and go back home, at the cemetery them go back home.
And them you home.
Yeah, and them never see no dopey yet. You know see? So plus me now, me now go to the cemetery go live. Not because me afraid of a cemetery, but just that, would I prefer living in a place where have flowers and birds and bees. I mean, no flowers and birds and bees are living in a cemetery, you understand?
Not charity see where you are dealing.
Nah, man, the dopey thing, I know, watch out, people that talk with them say their grandmother. You know, some say grandmother were dead 50 years ago. Sit down at the chair last night, in the same dress. In the same dress. You know, say dopey do the same thing them where live people do.
Yeah.
Then what the purpose of you got dead? If you got dead for do the same things then what you usually do when you're alive. Then I bet you just go and live. I bet you just go and live because when I talk about dopey going in fridge, go take out all him food. Him get up this man now you dopey and lick him pot. Him here say him look him see the dopey have on him shot. I mean I say what weird.
Dopey I go down the gate, I pull the gate and I go.
Dopey I make nice down the road and a clean clack. Jamaican people don't use Rasta.
Yeah, well, I'm based in the world.
Anyway, give thanks, Bridget.
I want to bless up the whole center, myself, and Bridget part 2. Ow!
All right, sir. Yes. All right, sir. May I tell you, it's amazing when we believe in her and we make it become real. And it's our mind that carry it to that level that we almost create that thing in our consciousness and it becomes so real that it's scary. It's a serious thing. It's like when a man sit down and a prayer. There's nothing that him praying to more than him inner self, you know. It's him inner self him a prayer. Him don't have to say nothing, you know. If you are praying, you don't really have to say nothing with your physical mouth. But most people, when them sit down and a prayer, them feel there's something outside it, so them a pray to. And when you say, in your soul, you pray for the idea that if you work with the prayer, the thing will work. But if the prayer alone and prayer, and you did that pray, it's like the man where he might pray every day, say I'm going to win the lottery. Oh Lord God, please make I win the lottery. If I win the lottery, I'd help from school pick and I'd do this and do that. And one day God decides that I'm going to answer him. And him ask God, please God, make me win the lottery. And God said, the way you buy a ticket. That's terrible thing. Yes. Consider. Yes.
Aye.
You're blessed.
You know, sir, I 1 minute me really have to, but I just want to say this quick because they are so long. I wonder if a Christian alone have rights in a Jamaica.
Christian, no, I don't Christian alone have rights.
Because here I am now, Muta. You know, sir. It's like me I be targeted by the JUTC because I go up on the bus and...
JUTC?
Yeah, I them not even want to take me up.
So what do have to do with Christian? So no man, not no go so man.
But I tell you something, man. Right now, do them a preach on the bus and I go there and I tell them, can't preach.
When that happened?
That happened last week.
And they were preached on the bus?
Yeah, and I tell them, sir.
Then all me hear, yeah, man, like, think of me not understand that. Then all me hear Radcliffe say, over him dead body. Well, him not in this again still, but him a part of the JUTC, you know. So everything gone back to normal. Now the team them on the bus, the loud music they on the bus, and them a preach on the bus. Wow. And the brethren say my Rasta. Them don't want him on the bus. What a terrible thing. All right, we're going back to square one. Yes. Come to think of it now. Maybe if I talk to most at the next caller, all of the next caller, then I'm going to tell them no my name. Yes. Yeah. All right. You're there on the ear. You never know if you're there on the ear. So like you drive. But I'm going to have to really call. EL. Wow. I appear problem out there so with that one there. Nah, answer the phone at all. serious thing. Where is the love? It look like we left it on the slave ship. You know, well, you know, so we have to bring it forward, you know, because that's a DNA in a way. We get submerged under blood, sweat, and tears because we spend so much time a fight that we have to ask the question, where is the love? And that is a simple thing to do, you know. Yeah, man, that's a simple thing to do, man. When you look at all a plant, man, and you see how the plant start from the seed, and you see it grow, and then when you look at it, and you say, but wait, that the seed that the plant under the earth, and this come out of it. You know what I mean? I say, yes, it's a beautiful thing to be all. Just that little seed. So we come when I respect the trees. We will look at all the bird them. You ever sit down and say a doctor bird that fly backwards? And one of the most unusual things you see, you know, to see a bird that fly backwards and just stand up in the mid-ear. Like usually a bird that fly move and it just stand up in the mid-ear, nah move at all. Sweet, man. Sweet. So we're man there right now. A man was supposed to there. All of them talking about God and Bible and this and that and everything there. If we not find ourselves, because I tell a man enough to read them things they still enough. Because I didn't read it. That's why I can't talk that way, yeah. But so when a man read something and him can't articulate himself outside of that book, I mean a serious problem. If every time you talk, you have to talk out of the literature book, you're in a serious problem because the next man write that about film experience and film understanding about we are going around him and inner him. And it don't mean say we are going around him and inner him 5,000 years ago. And the same thing are going around you and inner you in this 21st century or so. Because maybe if a whole heap of artists them did live 5,000 years ago, them would be included in the Old Testament as psalmists. Like the big high priest and thing will write psalms and all these things. Love songs and love poems. And some of them do have nothing to do with no God. Is figurative language them I use. Some of them is all about sex too. And you see the culture of the people them and how them thinking at them time there. It don't mean so we have to go look at it them way, you know, and regurgitate it. Like so we know to say at a different time we're in a different space. We need a new creation. And when we say need new creation, I mean our thinking and our thoughts must evolve. We need to evolve. We can't stuck in the past. 5,000 years ago, 4,000 years ago, 2,000 years ago. We have to understand those things for what it is. And most of it, as we say, is literature. It has nothing to do with the reality of life. But yet you can use it for fashion and frame a certain understanding. It's literature. Like Shakespeare write literature, Macbeth, you know, I mean, King Lear, Desdemona, you know, it's literature. Man just look upon him surroundings and just create a literature around these things. And then add when more add and subtract when more subtract. So we have to understand it on that level. And if you look upon black people, you see, so we get caught up in the literature more than the people them who give you the literature. Man, I tell you about donkey attack. And when you tell them about Brother Nancy, them say African folk tale that. So if a Nancy is a folk tale in the Asante kingdom in a Ghana, and we don't believe, say there is a spider talking to Brother Tukuma or Brother Tiger, and we know the tiger can't talk, and we know the spider can't talk, but we have given the spider and the tiger human qualities and human character to bring across a certain point in human actions and human thoughts. But we don't believe the spider did attack, really. Because the story is not telling you, the story don't want you to see the spider talking. The story wants to show you that this is a human thing, and this is how human beings react when they find themselves in a certain position. Like when you look at Egyptian motifs and you say a man body with an arc head. It's not devil thing. It's just showing you that the head symbolizes the personality of the human being. Just like how they put the hat with the feather and balance the feather upon the scale. And if you put your problems, or if you put your, for want of a better word, if you put your sins in the scale, and then you take the feather and put, because those scale is two scale thing, them two scale thing, where it have a balance. So when you balance the scale, and you put your sins in a one part of the scale, and then you put your feather in the next. If it don't balance, in other words, if the scale tilt, because the feather are in balance, so you put the feather there, so, and then you put in your sins in there, and the one where you put your sins in a drop down, you have to go start again. You have to go start again. Because something wrong. You have broken the negative confessions. Not avoid this, not avoid that. So you put the feather in the scale, in one side of the scale, and then you repeat the 42 negative confession, and then you put it in there, and any one of them that you are guilty of, it's going to tilt the scale. And if you tilt the scale, it means you have to go over and start again. That is the African chemetic way. Now you have other ways in Africa, because Africa is not a country, it's a continent. So as you go over the continent in different places, amongst different so-called tribal places, you see them react to the thing a different way. Them create a certain mythology to define a certain quality in the human personality. And the Bible does that too. So when you hear about a serpent talking and a donkey talking and man turn 5 fish and have 5 barley loaf and 12 fish and get 5,000 people and then you have whole heap left, it is not real. It's not something literal. We must not. If we start to take it literal, we're going to get confused. If we start to take it literal, we're going to get confused. And if the serpent talk, and if the donkey talk, then Brother Nancy was talking. There's something that we're missing. Because the only reason why we don't believe, say, are not we, but the only reason why a whole lot of people don't believe, say, the spider can talk is because it's not in the Bible. But if a spider was talking in the Bible, people would accept it and believe it. They would have believed it. But because the spider is a outsider, a cunning person, and you can learn from it and don't make the mistake where that spider make. In the mythology of the thing, we don't interpret the spider talking. We interpret the situation that the spider put himself or other people in and say how him maneuver himself out of it. The beauty of the story is that the spider maneuver himself out of it or him get caught in his own trap. But no one believes that there is a spider named Nancy that is walking up and down in the Asante kingdom in Ghana and doing all these things. It is what man create in him thinking. It's literature that him create to have a wider meaning. There's no mustard seed, literally, according to the brethren, that makes the sun. That is madness, craziness, and is delusion by religious fundamentalists. That is why guys tie bomb on themselves and become martyrs to go up into heaven to get 72 different virgins. Him want 72 virgins. So I'm tired him say that is what the clerk promised him. In the illusion, the clerk promised him that. And he started to believe that. Because he can't go outside of that. Because belief don't extend outside of what he was taught and what the Quran tell him. Just like how preacher tell you, so you're reading at the Bible, your faculty to understand things outside of that is spiritual, is limited toward what you were taught as your child. And you have to go get real radical now and come out of that. And you start to get educated enough to realize about these things is not real. It's there to make you understand that there was a man or was a group of people that was living 5,000 years ago. This is what they went through. This is how them used to solve them problem. When them see a murderer, them stone them to death. When them see a homosexual, them stone them to death. If you let go your sperm on the ground and you're not putting a woman, you stone to death. All of these things, if you do something wrong, you go kill a chicken, or you kill a cow, or you kill this or the calf or whatsoever. That is how them do these things. We don't do these things in at this time. It is treated as barbaric if we do these things in this time. No one take their son to put it on an altar to stab his son and offer it up as like a lamb to the slaughter. Yet they tell us that God gave his son for the sins of the world. God is omnipotent, omnipresent, omniscient. Why don't get to that sin and left the son? It's the same sacrifice. And then now we come now and symbolically, if we are Roman Catholic, we drink the blood of Jesus and eat the flesh and say we automatically now the blood and the flesh is transformed, the bread and the wine is transformed into our body and become literally. That is what Roman Catholics tell you. Preach. The fathers will tell you that when you drink the wine, it becomes in your body the blood of Jesus. And when you eat the bread, it becomes literally the flesh of Jesus. How did people come to this madness in a religious belief? And then black people get caught with it. But if you tell black people now about some African thing, where them do, and this and that, man start to make it into alabaloo. I say, wow, what weird set of people these Africans be.
It's all about life, yes. Oh yes, that's life. Love's the gift.
Congo Billy coming through. This is the cutting edge. Not a little more will come forward again from 2 to 5:45 with a stepping razor, the art of war.
And the joy that it brings.
You are listening to Mutabaruka.
Kelly's are coming through Africa. We're not Africans just because our people say if you're born in Africa, you can't be African, but not no go so. If a cow born in a pig pen, it means still a cow. Still a cow. And no matter which part of cow born, him go moo, and so it go.
Are always demanding
favorite sound of
Yes.
Blessed love, my Lord.
Blessed man.
Yes, give thanks for life, Holy Emmanuel, H.A.A.R.P, Rastafari, my Lord. Yes, my Lord, I calling from England. My name is Honorable Priest of Sukli Adigan Adolfo. I live in the city of Nottingham, as they would call Robin Hood City. I was picking up on something where you did say something about the Bible and the Amharic, right? And the misconfusion what that brother was saying. No, it is true that the structure of the Bible is just like the British Bible or any European Bible or whatever, about the place of the Greco-Roman and these things. But if we go back to even the Genesis, in the Amharic, they don't translate Genesis as Genesis, they translate it as creation, which is fitaret. In the Hebrew, Genesis does not mean the beginning, it means a beginning. In Amharic, they translate it as creation and not Genesis. Genesis is a different word in Amharic.
Yeah,
so when I was hearing you speaking with the
we know that Genesis no word in a Amharic name Genesis. We know all of that. Genesis is an English word. Just like in the beginning is an English word. We never say is that the same thing in the same word in the English Bible, in the Amharic Bible. It's not that me say.
No.
Yeah.
Now I understand what I say, you know. I said to what I was a pick up.
Yeah.
Right? It's like, I say the same, I say when them check it, like if you go to Hebrew I go say, Genesis means a beginning. But if you go to Amharic, Fitaret translates creation. Yeah. That's the only thing I was trying to clarify.
Alright, so now, I did ask the brethren say, read the first two verses of the Bible in Amharic.
Well, I don't. You
don't know. You can't do that. Okay, all right.
I have a knowledge of some these, but I cannot read the first few verses. I can read.
The Psalms, them, which is a very important aspect of the chant of the thing. The Psalms, them, is the same Psalms, them, that is in the Bible, the King James.
I agree with you. It's just that little part there I was trying to clear up.
Yeah, but little part, no, make no lamb void of me that say. It no make no lamb void of me that say. It's just that the Bible have more books.
All right, then. For another part, my Lord.
Yeah.
All right. I always say that Emperor Haile Selassie is higher than God in the eye consciousness, and I agree with the eye.
Yeah.
See?
Yeah.
So that Haile Selassie is not Jesus Christ, and he is more than God.
Yeah.
Right? But what I'm saying, if that what is higher than God, why did he end off Ephesus, Nicaea, and the other one, the last one, Chelsea? Because I'm saying this man in his intelligence.
Wait about Chelsea.
Last one. Chelsea then. Because I'm saying this man in his intelligence.
Wait about Chelsea.
I said there are three Christian councils that happen in time in history.
Christian man.
Yeah, I know that. I am saying.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
What? This man endorsed these things what we born. I'm not telling you say you have to follow Haile Selassie, I believe.
Yeah. Because not the belief I listen to him. Yes.
Mutabaruka, I tell you something in a history with you nearly make I lose I job.
Terrible
in
man.
England, yourself. When I say you nearly make I lose I job. See?
Yeah, what a terrible man is.
Yeah, my Lord, I work on a building site. Majesty, listen me good. And you come to England in some red, gold and green, what they would have called in England? Leg warmer. And you have on a red, gold and green woolly ganze. And you come and you do the two poetry there. It no good for stay in a white man country too long, and England is a bitch.
No, I know me do England is a bitch. No, wait the whole hand, man. You mix me up, man. I know me do England is a bitch. And Linton do England is a bitch.
Okay.
And me do the white man
one of them
country.
Anyway. I may go back work the next day. And I man nearly get sacked for what the man I say. I call him and I tell him, say, I agree with you.
So it's not good to stay in a white man country too long.
Yes.
Yeah, well.
So,
That poor cause a whole heap of people for go back to Africa.
Yeah. But what I was saying is...
back to the conversation.
What is your take on it then? All right. I know the Emperor is Christian, and I like I have that same sentiment that you don't have to endorse His Majesty's faith. But I'm saying, since Rasta lick out against Nicaea, Ephesus, and Chalcedon,
right? Where say Rasta lick out against Nicaea? What is Nicaea? You mean the conference?
Nicaea, the Council of Nicaea.
Oh, the plea. Okay, yes.
Right. Ephesus and Chalcedon, yeah? These three council of churches, and the emperor and all them in Harlem edit as a Christian. I'm saying, no, in my intelligence, no. We look upon Christianity and we say Christianity is confused and Christianity is this. So, if without separating the emperor from the whole, right, and if Christianity is confused on whether it be in Ethiopia, outside Ethiopia, then, right. What are we suggesting of the emperor then?
No, we're not suggesting nothing of the emperor, but all we are saying is that in our experience in Jamaica, saying Haile Selassie develop a certain cultural expression and a certain resilience against white supremacy and the oppression where black people go through in Jamaica. That is what we are saying.
Yeah, I understand that, but I'm saying in the context of Haile Selassie and accepting these things, and we don't accept them.
But that we are saying,
and it's considered it don't put us at odds with him. I'm saying
it don't put no odds with him because it never when Haile Selassie come here, it was not odds. Haile Selassie didn't know what Rastaman say. It never had odds with him. You never hear him make no negative argument against Rasta.
I know him no make no negative argument, but I'm saying Rasta do make negative argument against his personal faith.
Yeah, but when I say him know that, then you think I didn't know that when him come here. So
I'm not saying him don't know that. I'm trying to get to understand. I'm looking in, and I know my understanding. I'm trying to get.
I tell you about my
understanding of Rasta is since most Christians get tarnished that them faith is a illusion, is faith, and a thing. I'm saying how ironic that how ironic it could come to some people that we're following someone who follow this edit where we say this and that.
But
right?
Virgin,
we don't even want all that tail.
Hold on there. The Christian them follow a man that never give credence to them faith. The Christian them follow Christ who was giving credence to a thing in a film culture which is called Judaism. So, what the Christians do is hold on Christ in I'm living, not in I'm faith. Because you don't hear all the things them that Christians talk about Christ. If them was to follow how Christ grew up as a youth and thing and in the faith where Christ was, it would have been them would have been a Jew. Now the Jews them don't believe that Jesus Christ is the returned Messiah.
I know that.
Yeah, and the Christians don't accept Judaism, and them feel say it's the Old Testament. That means say it old, and what them do is new. So
all right, then.
I don't see the contradiction.
Just before I cut off, I know if you just get to the last minute. Just we touch for that thing. You ever read a book called The Journey to Bethlehem?
I read it the last minute.
You ever read a book called Journey to Bethlehem?
No, where to deal with?
No, me just say, you know, in the Bible, the Ethiopians have some stories, not in the Bible, yeah?
Yeah, man.
In one of the Ethiopian version, you know, I'm talk about the birth of Jesus or whatever. Them say in a fit them have a virgin outside the Bible which them say born in a cave and not a man and not a stable.
Ben, you can answer that too. Ben, you can answer that.
So there's only a difference.
Ben, you can write that Jesus Christ born in a cave in Ethiopia.
Okay, now I'm just saying that comes up in Ethiopian.
Yeah, me know. Ben Buchanan is an Ethiopian. Ben Buchanan is an Ethiopian.
Okay. Anyway, my lord,
and yet Ben Buchanan can't take Haile Selassie.
I man know. Yet him is one of our. Yet that man there is one of our great inspirers through time, but he can't take Haile Selassie.
Just like Marcus Garvey. Marcus Garvey fight against Haile Selassie, but what? Marcus Garvey to we.
It still remains Marcus Garvey.
So that's how it goes. See, there is things appear to be contradictions, but if you it's tolerant enough, and the understanding enough through the experience, you can recognize how potent the thing is.
Yeah. No, you see, my lord, too, I've been listening to this show for years. I was 48 now. I used to be a member of Local 111 in EWF before I come to Prince Emmanuel and Boba Shanti, you know? So, I born and grown in England. I live in England. I have 8 children down here with our Honorable Empress of the last 26 years.
Yeah, make a tribe in England, man.
Right, so, you know, and I go into Ethiopia come August, so... If you know Obadiah and all them man, Obadiah and all them man, they from Birmingham.
Federation man, them.
Yeah, EWF. I man is a super Adigan. Most of the
Obadiah them can't. Obadiah bring with them. Come Birmingham already.
Yeah, man. You know me just say me used to day in that same local there. I man them. Do my first name Asukili. I used to call I man Adigu, which is a Yoruba name. Adigun. ADIGUN. Yeah, so, you know, I'm just getting, so anyway, you know, say Matrix are coming now and whosoever are coming now and I laugh. You know, but when we feel listen you, Jamuta, you find, say, at 4 o'clock English time, when the clock go forward. So it's more time that enough of we rest up time, them time there.
Yeah, me know.
The sometime we are forced to stay up, you know.
You have to take some matches. You have to get matches stick and put on your eyelid, man.
Eh?
You have to get matches stick and put on your eyelid.
See.
Anyway, give thanks.
So, my Lord, give thanks for the patience and your rap attention, you know, and give thanks for the power and the energy, you know, and give thanks for the insight, and give thanks for the track Gambia there, you know, and
Senegal,
all things done, and the great work, you know, for lift visa and make a freeway.
No, it not lift
yet, freeway, you know, freeway.
Well, the principal did that talk about it too, so it not lift yet, you know.
So what?
It don't lift yet, you know. We make the recommendation to the government, and the government said, yes, them going to do it. So we have to wait.
Right, well, we just have to see if them fulfill them words, you know?
No, we made a recommendation, we meet with them, and them agree. So all we have to do now is see if them going to fulfill that. But that is just one part of the whole thing, you know.
True. You know, man. Remember Africa 54 country big, you know?
No, I mean, say, what going to happen me I talk about? Out of me meeting these ministers and things.
Yes.
Visa is just one aspect of the whole thing. But the reason why we don't talk about the other things is because we know as politicians and we want to see what will happen. Even though we feel it will happen still, you know. But you will hear, as it go on, you will hear what transpire in that level.
True. Well, like me say, me keep everything abreast, you know. Breast car in a few time tomorrow. Steppy Razor are going to start 2 o'clock.
Yeah, give thanks, bro.
Steppy Razor are going to start about 8 o'clock in the afternoon.
In the night.
At 2 o'clock now. At 2 o'clock now. So it's going to start 8 o'clock in the evening.
And them always me did listen to it when me there Gambia to 8 o'clock. And them always me did listen to it.
Alright, yes.
Blessed man, give thanks.
Alright, Majesty, now go all up the line call. This good to be the last call. Alright. So give thanks here, Majesty live, blessed love.
Oh, and more stepping as a Babylon. Survive.
I just want a man know, say, and this a come from Mutabaruka, you know, this not come from, well, you know, them say the views expressed on this radio does not necessarily represent the voice of the radio. Me as a Rasta man, as a man who defend Africa, could have never go to Africa and get so near to a head of state and not agitate for something where I and I are related to down here so for how much years now. Never ever. We couldn't just go down and so go read poem and jump on stage and all these things. And me get so near to these people that everybody around me was some high society, high official who can make a difference. The head of the army, the head of the police force, the minister of this, the president, the vice president, the mother, all these things. Me could have never find myself in that company and don't agitate for something that we over here so hold fast to. No, sir. No, sir. Because when me know so when me there, so me can't get near certain people. And me get the opportunity to go near them. Oh gosh, man. So we talk to them say them are going to do certain things. And as me I say, it's not only that. We talk to them about, you know, see, but we're going to watch where I go on. We're going to watch where I go on. But trust me, they're receptive. They're very receptive, and we love the receptive vibration because of the Pan-Africanist thinking. And we, as we say, we hope say other things that has been agitated for, that they have recognized in our agitation, will come to fruition. I can't always say fruitation. There's no such word. Man, I just have come back now. I don't know where them have been fire, so if you go out in the Rasta. Hey, Matrix, don't me it alright in the Rasta. You ever come see me and complicate anything? Nothing complicated. Me I tell you, the man sleep all the night. Me don't know where they are for. It's like if I watch me if I go take, if I go teach something in here. I said them set him for me enough to say if I go teach nothing out there, you know. Because you know, a sheep in my corner, sheep no in here. You must say, hey, watch Muta, you know, cause it's like when I go to Africa, we would have come one night and said, no, none of the CD player there beside us. All the big sabot, God, we hear from the shouting God Africa with it. Sir, I don't know what was the purpose of that. Believe you me, I mean, I can't understand where I go at, but if you're there so long enough, you get watch baby to watch over way. That's terrible thing. Yeah, we give thanks to the moment, give thanks to the time and the energy. Yes. You know, I feel like we start out slow, but eventually the program reach a kind of zenith light, yes, with the information and the presentation. So it's always wonderful. Yeah, it's always wonderful. Over there with a little more. Matrix then at the house, you know. Yes. Matrix have ear upon him head, upon him face. So he has finally become a big man. Long time you don't heal up your mother. So I want to heal up Matrix mother. I know say anytime I tell Matrix to tell him mother say, when I say him not tell her. I'm a vex. She say you not tell her one thing. You know, nobody question me about that. Afraid you afraid now. Say me tell you something I never tell her though. You never tell her nothing. She say you don't tell her nothing when me say. And sometimes she hear me on the radio. Sometimes. But when me send the message to her, she say you don't tell her nothing. He's a wicked son-in-law. He's a wicked son-in-law, Rasta. Believe I never know say so yesterday. Eh? You know, say me go punch your tire outside, no. Me go let down the ear, you know. You don't drive. Who bring you come now, yeah? Them feel me here, me go let down too. That you can't go home. The man that tell him mother nothing when me say the Rasta. As him come out here and forget about me, forget about his mother, everybody. All the years when I said message to give mother the Rasta, I'm not telling mother nothing. Suppose me that plan my life round her. So he's a delinquent son-in-law, believe you me. He's a delinquent son-in-law, Rasta, believe you me. I want to tell her, say, it's not that I forget her here, but I keep telling your son this, that, this, and that. Them don't tell you nothing. But you're always here with me.
One more stepping out of Babylon.